Sweden's new fighter jet could be the end of Russia's air reign. For years, Russia has held the title of having one of the most formidable air forces in the world and relied on its superior air force to maintain a stronghold in global military power. But Sweden's cutting-edge JAS-39 Gripen, with its stealth tech and unheard-of agility, is challenging and shaking up that long-standing supremacy and balance of power in ways no one expected. What makes this Swedish fighter so innovative? How will it challenge Russia's military might in the skies? Join us as we uncover the secrets behind Sweden's new fighter jet, a game-changer that has left Russia on edge. Sweden, known for peace and neutrality, has just pulled the wraps off a brand-new fighter jet, shocking Russia's defense establishment. Its new fighter, the JAS-39 Gripen, is equipped with advanced technology, next-generation stealth capability, and unprecedented agility, proving that Sweden is not just a tiny Nordic nation, but one of the more modern faces of war. The development of the Gripen began in the late 1970s, when Sweden faced a big challenge. Its aging fighter jets, the Saab 35 Draken and Saab 37 Viggen, were becoming outdated. The Swedish Air Force needed a fast, affordable aircraft capable of reaching Mach 2, but that wasn't all. It had to operate from short, makeshift runways, just 800 meters long and 17 meters wide, part of Sweden's BAS-90 defense system. If war ever broke out, these hidden airstrips would allow Swedish pilots to take off and land even if significant air bases were destroyed. The new fighter had to be smaller than the Viggen, but just as powerful, carrying weapons and fuel without losing performance. Swedish engineers explored several options. One was the Saab 38, or B3LA, designed as a trainer and attack jet. Another was the A-20, an advanced version of the Viggen that could handle multiple missions, from air combat to reconnaissance over the sea. Sweden also studied foreign fighters like the American F-16, F/A-18, and F-20 Tiger Shark, as well as the French Mirage 2000. But in the end, Sweden chose to develop its own fighter. The vision for this new jet was ambitious. It needed to handle air-to-air combat, strike ground targets, and perform reconnaissance missions, all in the same flight. This concept, called JAS, meant that the aircraft had to be highly versatile. Saab proposed several designs, and after careful review, one stood out. Known initially as Project 2105, it later evolved into Project 2108, and finally Project 2110, the blueprint for what would become Sweden's most advanced fighter. To bring this vision to life, a powerful team of Swedish companies joined forces. Saab Scania, LM Ericsson, Volvo Flygmotor, and Svenska Radioaktiebolaget formed Industrigruppen JAS, pooling their expertise. The design they settled on was sleek, lightweight, and highly advanced. It had a single engine, an aerodynamically unstable frame for greater agility, and a cutting-edge fly-by-wire control system. The engine chosen was the Volvo Flygmotor RM12, a Swedish version of the American General Electric F404, designed to be powerful yet lightweight. In June 1982, Sweden's government gave the green light, approving a massive 25.7 billion Swedish kroner contract with Saab. The deal covered 5 prototypes and an initial batch of 30 production aircraft. A modified Viggen was used to test the new fighter's sophisticated avionics, including its fly-by-wire system. When it came time to name the jet, Sweden held a public contest. The winning name? Gripen, Swedish for Griffin, inspired by Saab's heraldic logo. The first Gripen was unveiled on April 26, 1987, marking Saab's 50th anniversary. Its maiden flight was planned that year, but technical issues delayed the takeoff. Finally, on December 9, 1988, test pilot Stig Holmstrom flew the prototype for 51 minutes. The excitement didn't last long. Engineers soon discovered problems with the aircraft's flight control system, which made it challenging to handle. The worst fears came true on February 2, 1988, when test pilot Lars Rådström struggled to land the jet. The aircraft crashed, but he survived with just a broken elbow. Investigators found that the flight control software had flaws, causing the plane to respond unpredictably to pilot inputs. Determined to fix the issue, Saab teamed up with the American firm Calspan to refine the software. They tested the improvements on a modified Lockheed NT-33A, and after 15 months, Gripen flight tests resumed. Just as things seemed back on track, disaster struck again. On August 8, 1993, during a Stockholm air show, Rotastrom was performing a low-altitude roll when the jet stalled. He ejected just in time as the Gripen crashed into the ground. The investigation found that rapid pilot movements caused the aircraft to overreact. Saab fine-tuned the control system once more, delaying the program but ensuring future Gripens would be safer. Despite the setbacks, Sweden pushed forward. A larger order followed the first production batch of Gripens in June 1992. This second batch included 96 single-seat JIS-39As and 14 two-seat JIS-39Bs. The two-seater was slightly longer but had to sacrifice its cannon and reduce internal fuel storage. By April 1994, 5 prototypes and 2 production Gripens had been built, though Sweden had yet to decide on a long-range missile for the jet. More upgrades followed. In June 1997, Sweden ordered 64 enhanced Gripens, 50 single-seat JAS-39Cs, and 14 two-seat JAS-39Ds. These models, nicknamed Turbo Gripen, were designed with NATO compatibility for export sales. They featured more powerful avionics, in-flight refueling capability with retractable probes, and an onboard oxygen generating system for extended missions. In-flight refueling tests in 1998, using a Royal Air Force VC-10 tanker, confirmed that the Gripen could refuel mid-air, extending its combat range. By 2008, the final aircraft from this upgraded batch had been delivered. Despite early crashes and technical struggles, Sweden had built one of the most advanced and cost-effective fighter jets in the world. The Gripen's agility, modern avionics, and low operating costs made it an attractive choice for other nations. Today, the Gripen continues to evolve, proving that Sweden's decision to build its fighter jet was right. For decades, Saab Aerospace has set the benchmark for advanced fighter design and placed Sweden well on the military map. While countries like Russia have grabbed headlines with their Su-57s, Sweden quietly built some of the world's most capable and innovative aircraft. Saab JAS-39 Gripen, a multi-role fighter for speed, agility, and cost. It is one of the best fighter jets ever made, competing with Russian jets, but it is cheaper and easier to maintain. Its design and functionality shook the concept that smaller nations were approaching air superiority. The fact that the Gripen is less expensive to fly and maintain than their Russian counterparts, yet powerful enough to stand toe-to-toe with much bigger aircraft regarding the capability for maneuverability and rolls, gave new meaning to its existence. But Saab didn't stop there. As the Gripen has become a staple in air forces worldwide, the Swedish military has quietly been working on its next-generation fighter jet, one that dwarfs its predecessor in capability and impact. And so brings us to the present day, with Sweden taking another giant leap forward with the development of a fighter jet set to shake things up in the air defense landscape, especially in Eastern Europe, where Russia has been in a league of its own for many years. The new Saab JAS-39 Gripen E is the latest evolution of Sweden's multi-role fighter jet, a machine designed to outmaneuver, outthink, and outmatch its adversaries. Featuring state-of-the-art electronic warfare systems, advanced sensors, and the ability to operate in hostile environments with a minimum level of support, the Gripen E proves that Sweden is a rising power in modern air warfare. It is equipped with enhancements that will elevate it into the echelon of the most advanced military jets in the world, next to the American F-35 and the Russian Su-57 Felon. Unlike any of its predecessors, this new fighter features state-of-the-art stealth technology that provides a much smaller radar signature. Hence, it is very hard for enemy forces to track or engage. This stealth feature, combined with super cruise capability, meaning flying at supersonic speeds without using afterburners, gives this Swedish jet an unrivaled advantage in speed and evasion. What separates this fighter, however, is the integration of artificial intelligence within its combat systems. The aircraft will use AI-powered decision-making to assist and augment the efforts of the human pilot in observing and countering hostile threats. That means rapid reaction times with nippy bits of flying while minimizing the intellectual burden on a human pilot during dogfighting. It also has network defense capability, sharing in real time with other aircraft and ground-based defense systems, all integrated into a unified whole. That technological leap puts the new Swedish fighter in a different league from older jets like the Su-27 or F-16. The aircraft is also built for superior situational awareness, as a Gripen E also tops the list. Using the aircraft's advanced sensor fusion, enabling pilots to see a whole 360-degree battlefield that integrates other aircrafts, drones, and ground stations in real time. This puts Swedish pilots at a significant advantage over the Russian fighter jets that rely primarily on traditional radar-based tracking. The Gripen E is one of this planet's most agile fighter jets. It operates with a light frame and cutting-edge flight control systems to be able to out-around and out-maneuver some of Russia's most capable fighter. Electronic warfare and battlefield awareness combined with agility perhaps make the Gripen E a formidable opponent, one that Russia can no longer afford to ignore. Russia has held the top spot in the air power competition for a long time. Moscow created the Su-57 Felon to match America's F-22 and F-35. This jet boasts high agility and stealth qualities. But Sweden's new plane might shake up this situation. Though Russia's Su-57 is a tough opponent, Sweden's new aircraft brings in features that could test Russian air dominance in important European areas. Nobody thought Sweden would build such a cutting-edge fighter. Sweden's skill in radar jamming could render Russian air defenses useless. Its small radar signature makes it hard for Russian S-400 and S-500 air defense systems to spot an attack. Its ability to move could match the Su-57, making close-range air battles hard to predict. Recently, one of the Saab's Gripen E fighter jet prototypes was spotted with a noticeably different wing design. Saab has not officially announced this change, but recent photos of the Gripen E show that the aircraft now has a larger, more trapezoidal wing. This new shape is a departure from the original crop delta design, and some aviation experts have even compared it to Saab's older Viggen fighter, which had a distinctive double delta wing and large canards. The change appears to have been made by modifying the wing's trailing edge, replacing the original elevons, control surfaces that act as both elevators and ailerons, with larger ones. This approach allows Saab to expand the wing area without completely redesigning it. However, even though this may seem like a simple modification, it required significant adjustments to the flight control system to maintain stability and performance. Johan Segertoft, head of the Gripen business unit at Saab, explained the reason behind this modification. Early in development, we identified a way to improve Gripen's ability to carry heavier loads, which would be a big advantage for future missions. We decided to implement this enhancement as quickly as possible. Along with the wing changes, we modified the canards and updated the software. These improvements provide immediate benefits and show our ability to continually upgrade the aircraft to meet future needs. Although Segertoft mentioned adjustments to the canards, the photos released so far do not show any apparent changes in that area. However, he emphasized that adaptability is a key feature of the Gripen's design. This aircraft is built to evolve rapidly and efficiently, he said. We continuously upgrade it with new technology and improvements, some visible and some not. Fighter jets need to keep advancing to meet the demands of modern warfare. The Gripen E now has an expanded performance range and can carry heavier and more complex payloads to handle future mission requirements. Saab had considered this wing upgrade long before it was implemented. According to Segertoft, the idea was first explored using Saab's digital design techniques early in the Gripen E's development. Initial testing confirmed the benefits of the modification, and in 2021, Saab decided to make the change a permanent part of the aircraft's design. The first Gripen E with the new wing configuration took to the skies in the second half of 2021, proving that the modifications worked as planned. Currently, 16 Gripen E fighters are operating, split between Sweden and Brazil. Brazil is the first and only country outside Sweden to order the jet, and it has even established its production line to manufacture 15 of its 36 ordered aircraft. Segertoft confirmed that the revised wing is now a standard feature on all new production models for Sweden, Brazil, and future customers. The most significant advantage of this new wing design is the increased ability to carry external weapons, fuel tanks, and other equipment. Although the Gripen E could already carry heavy loads, this enhancement further improved its versatility. The jet can carry up to 4 RBS-15 anti-ship missiles, 9 air-to-air missiles, or 16 small-diameter bombs. The increased wing area could allow even more weapons to be fitted simultaneously, possibly by adjusting the pylons or using new attachment points. Expanding the combat potential of the Gripen E is also in line with Sweden's evolving defense strategy. With increasing security concerns in the region, mainly due to Russian aggression, Sweden has been working to strengthen its air force. In addition to joining NATO, the country has chosen to keep its older Gripen C/D fleet in service longer, while acquiring 60 next-generation Gripen E fighters. These upgrades ensure that the Gripen E remains a robust and adaptable aircraft, ready to meet future challenges in aerial combat. The new wing design of the Gripen E isn't just about fuel capacity. It also plays a key role in improving the jet's maneuverability. A larger wing area means better performance at lower speeds, which is especially valuable in close-range dogfights. The bigger elevons enhance pitch and roll control, making the aircraft more agile. These changes also help with general handling, particularly during takeoffs and landings, even when the jet is carrying heavy weapons or fuel loads. While improving low-speed agility wasn't the main reason for the Gripen E's new wing design, it turns out to be a significant advantage. Pilots will likely notice smoother handling and better control in demanding situations, even when the aircraft is loaded with extra fuel or advanced weapons. A similar concept has been explored for the Eurofighter Typhoon. Eurofighter developed the aerodynamic modification kit to boost the Typhoon's ability to carry heavy loads while maintaining agility. This package includes fuselage strakes, leading-edge root extensions, and larger elevons. These changes reportedly increase the wing's maximum lift by 25%, giving the Typhoon better control and maneuverability when carrying heavy weapons. The AMK package was tested on the German Eurofighter prototype IPA-7 in 2015. Airbus's head of combat aircraft systems, Kurt Rossner, explained that the goal was to enhance the Typhoon's stability and allow for new weapon configurations. If implemented, the modifications would improve the jet's turn rate, allow for tighter turns, and give pilots better nose-pointing control, particularly at low speeds. This means that even a heavily armed Typhoon could maintain strong dogfighting abilities. Despite these benefits, no country has officially added the AMK modifications to its Typhoon fleet. The Gripen E, however, will include its new wing shape as a standard feature. Sweden and Brazil, the first two customers for the jet, will be the ones to explore how much of an edge this design provides in real-world missions. It will be interesting to see how pilots use this upgrade, especially in scenarios that demand high maneuverability and heavy payload capacity. The Gripen E's redesigned wing proves that even minor aerodynamic tweaks can lead to significant improvements in performance. While it wasn't created purely for better low-speed handling, that benefit could be a game-changer in combat. Whether for dogfights, tricky landings, or heavily armed missions, this modification could make a significant difference in how the Gripen E performs in the skies. How do the Gripen E and F-16 compare in terms of adaptability, performance, and maintenance, especially in the context of the war in Ukraine? The war in Ukraine has revealed that some weapons, like long-range missiles, can be adapted to different aircraft. Western cruise missiles, for example, are likely easier to fit onto Swedish Gripens than onto Ukraine's Soviet-era MiG-29s and Su-27s. The Gripen E, a more advanced version of the jet, stands out with better avionics, stronger electronic warfare systems, and seamless compatibility with NATO technology. It's equipped with advanced sensors, network connectivity, and the ability to launch electronic attacks while defending against modern threats. One of its biggest advantages over the F-16 is its low maintenance cost and ability to take off from rough runways or even highways. The F-16, on the other hand, has been a reliable workhorse for air forces since the late 1970s. Known for its flexibility and maneuverability, it started as a lightweight fighter, but has evolved into a versatile all-weather combat aircraft. Upgrades over the years have improved its radar, avionics, and weapon systems. Like the Gripen, the F-16 can reach speeds over Mach 2 and fly up to 50,000 feet. However, its combat range is shorter, about 340 miles on internal fuel, though it can exceed 2,000 miles with external tanks. The F-16 boasts advanced features like the ANRA PG-68 radar, which can track targets over 60 miles away, and a frameless bubble canopy for better visibility. Its side-mounted control stick and fly-by-wire system make it highly agile. But the jet has a significant downside: maintenance. A recent U.S. report ranked the F-16 as one of the hardest planes to keep operational. Extensive training, around 9 months for pilots, and setting up systems for maintenance, refueling, and ammunition supply are major challenges. Ukraine hopes to integrate F-16s into its Air Force quickly, but the training required makes it a tough task. Recently, the first group of Ukrainian pilots completed F-16 training in Arizona, and another group finished maintenance training in the Netherlands. While these jets could boost Ukraine's capabilities, the road to making them fully operational won't be easy. The United States has just revealed one of the most advanced weapons ever created, shattering previous records. This $20 million Gatling gun is a marvel of modern engineering, designed to fire at rapid speeds. Its destructive power is both awe-inspiring and intimidating, capable of altering the course of warfare as we know it. While other nations watch closely, this groundbreaking weapon has the potential to redefine global military strategies. What makes it so powerful? And how could it impact the balance of power worldwide? Join us as we explore the loading and firing of a super scary $20 million Gatling gun in the middle of the night. The counter-rocket, artillery, and mortar Centurion is one of the most advanced defense systems in the world. It is designed to protect soldiers and important assets from deadly and powerful attacks. This system has been known to be a lifesaver, with the outstanding ability to detect, track, and destroy any incoming threats within seconds, making it an important weapon. The Centurion is associated with the Navy's Phalanx close-in weapon system. The Phalanx is a weapon used by the Navy to protect ships, and it was designed to save these ships from missiles and aircraft. It is one of the most powerful and reliable weapons, but it has one limitation. It was meant only for the sea, and as battles changed and new threats started emerging, the military concluded that a similar system was needed on land. Also, rockets, artillery, and mortars were seen as a growing danger to soldiers. These weapons are fast, deadly, and often fired in large numbers. Old defenses like bunkers could protect troops, but they could not stop the destruction of important and necessary equipment. This led to an agreement that a system that could handle these threats in midair was needed. In the early 2020s, the idea of using the Phalanx for land use started taking shape. Engineers and military experts worked together to build the system, adding new features to make it effective on the ground. In the end, the system was named the Centurion. It is designed to destroy and detect any incoming threats before they can cause damage. This weapon is known for its incredible firepower and its ability to destroy threats with precision and speed. This ability made it one of the most reliable systems in modern warfare, and every part of its design was focused on its goal. The Centurion's core strength lies in its 20mm M61A1 Gatling gun, which can fire up to 4,500 rounds per minute, releasing a lot of bullets at once. Each round has been designed to be highly effective against fast-moving targets. When the weapon is fired, the bullets create a wall of metal in the air, making it impossible for every incoming attack to get through. The gun uses 6 rotating barrels, which allow it to fire continuously without overheating. The barrels can rotate at high speed, ensuring a steady and rapid rate of fire. This feature allows the weapon to engage multiple targets quickly, one after the other. The weapon's fire control system ensures that every shot is carefully aimed, and the radar helps detect the exact position and speed of incoming threats. The system calculates the perfect angle for the Gatling gun to fire. This accuracy ensures that attacks are destroyed before causing harm. In addition, one unique feature of the Centurion is its ability to fire bursts. Instead of shooting continuously, it can release short, controlled bursts of bullets. This method is said to be more efficient and prevents unnecessary weapon use. Each burst is timed carefully to destroy the target while trying not to waste resources. The weapon is specially made for its mission, and the rounds are made from dense materials, which makes them effective at destroying rockets, artillery shells, and mortars in the sky. These rounds explode once they hit their target, ensuring maximum damage to the target while minimizing the risk to the surrounding area. Another important strength of the weapon is the system's ability to adapt to different situations. The system can handle a wide range of threats, from small mortar rounds to larger rockets. The ability to adapt is really critical on the battlefield, where the type of attack from the enemies can change at any time. When the weapon is activated, the system operates automatically, requiring less action from the handlers. This allows troops to focus more on their mission, knowing that the weapon is always ready to defend them without worry. The system is designed to perform in all conditions, whether it is cold or heavy rain. Another important aspect of the Centurion is its ability to work perfectly with other defense systems. It can work with other radars and weapon systems, creating a network of protection. This coordination ensures that no attack goes unnoticed, even in complex battle environments. Meanwhile, the system does not just stop attacks. It can also reduce the risk to troops and equipment. By intercepting attacks in the sky, it prevents damage to buildings, vehicles, and other critical infrastructure around it. This allows military operations to continue without disruption, even in the face of constant attacks. The effectiveness of the Centurion has been proven over time in combat zones. In most cases, it has destroyed many threats in a single engagement, demonstrating its speed and accuracy. Soldiers on the ground often report hearing its unique burst of gunfire, followed by the explosion of the intercepted rockets. The firepower of this weapon is unmatched. It offers protection that few other systems can provide, with its combination of rapid fire capability, perfect accuracy, and ability to adapt to every situation to deliver an outstanding performance. On the battlefield, this system stands as a shield every soldier depends on, protecting the troops and assets from harm. It is a highly advanced system powered by modern technology, and every component works together to ensure that threats are detected, tracked, and destroyed with precision. At the center of this weapon technology is its radar system. This radar operates continuously, scanning the sky for any signs of danger. It can detect incoming threats as soon as they are fired. What makes the radar truly amazing is its speed. It processes data in real time, identifying potential dangers in seconds. The radar is linked to a powerful fire control system that takes the information gathered by the radar and calculates the best way to intercept the threat. It determines the exact location and speed of the target, making sure that the weapon fires at the perfect time. This level of accuracy is important for the system's success. The system also includes a network of sensors, which increase the radar's capabilities by providing additional data about the environment. They can detect changes in the speed of wind or temperature, which can affect the weapon's flight path. By accounting for these factors, the system ensures that it's accurate anytime it is triggered. Communication is another important part of the system. It is designed to work as part of a larger network by sharing data with other defense systems, allowing for better coordination on the battlefield. This approach means that even if one system misses the targets, another one can step in to destroy them. The system can communicate with ground-based radars, air defense systems, and even drones. This integration allows it to share information about threats and coordinate responses effectively. The Gatling gun is powered by an electric vehicle that drives its 6 rotating barrels. This design allows for continuous firing without overheating. The weapon is also impressive because each round is carefully crafted to maximize its effectiveness against high-speed threats. One of the most important aspects of its technology is the way its equipment uses advanced technology. The system operates by relying on algorithms and pre-programmed responses to handle threats. Once it is activated, it works on its own, scanning, targeting, and firing without any delay. This reduces the risk of human error and ensures a faster response time. The system's software plays an important role in its performance. Experts have developed advanced programs that allow it to adapt to different scenarios. The software can differentiate between real threats and harmless objects like birds. This prevents the system from wasting weapons on false alarms. However, the power supply is also carefully designed. It uses a combination of onboard generators and external power sources to maintain continuous operation. This ensures that the system keeps working even if one power source fails. It also includes tools for monitoring and evaluating. After each contact, the system records detailed data about its performance. This information is used to identify areas for improvement and make updates to the software and hardware of the system. A critical aspect of the system is its ability to be upgraded. Engineers are constantly working on improvements to keep up with evolving threats. New software updates enhance the system's ability to detect and track targets, while hardware upgrades improve its accuracy and speed. These continuous advancements mean that the Centurion remains effective even as enemy tactics change. Its success is a result of its advanced technology. From its radar and sensors to its fire control system and automatic operation, every part of the system is designed for efficiency and accuracy. This makes it a vital tool for modern military operations. The system is built to handle a variety of modern threats with efficiency, and as the nature of warfare continues to evolve, this system remains a crucial part of defense strategy by adapting to new challenges on the battlefield. One of its main strengths is its ability to counter multiple types of attacks. Rockets, artillery shells, and mortar rounds each behave differently. While mortars are often small and fast, making them difficult to detect, rockets can travel long distances and carry heavy explosives. Artillery shells can be used in large numbers during attacks. The weapon deals with all of these threats, providing reliable protection in respect of the situation around it. The design of the system allows it to be deployed in various environments, whether it is a remote desert base or an isolated area. The Centurion can be set up and used in a short amount of time. Its portable size means it can be moved easily to where it is needed the most, and this mobility ensures that soldiers and important assets are protected. The system's efficiency is another key factor in its adaptability. The system is designed to minimize the use of resources. Its automated operation reduces the need for a large crew, while its precise targeting ensures that ammunition is used effectively. This efficiency is especially important in prolonged engagements, where resources may be limited. Another advantage of this system is its speed. Modern threats, especially rockets and mortars, can travel incredibly fast. The system's quick reaction time ensures that these threats are intercepted before they reach their target. This rapid response is essential for protecting troops and infrastructure in high-risk areas. The Centurion's ability to adapt to modern threats makes it an amazing weapon. Its flexibility, speed, and efficiency ensure that it can meet the demands of battlefields, providing reliable defense in even the most challenging situations. One of the first challenges of this weapon was mobility. Unlike ships, which stay in the water, military bases and forward operations move frequently. This weapon has to be portable so it can protect troops wherever they are deployed. Engineers solved this problem by putting the system on a trailer, making it easy to transport. Another challenge was detection. On the sea, threats like missiles are often larger and easier to spot. On land, however, incoming threats like mortar shells are smaller and harder to detect. To address this, the Centurion was equipped with a highly sensitive radar system. This radar could pick up even the smallest objects moving at high speeds. The system is designed to warn troops of incoming attacks. It uses a network of sensors and speakers to alert soldiers when a rocket or mortar is on its way. This gives them time to take cover, and these warnings have saved countless lives on the battlefield. The first versions of the Centurion were tested. Engineers analyzed its performance, made adjustments, and upgraded its capabilities. After rigorous testing, it was ready for deployment. The first use of this weapon was seen in action in the Middle East, where bases were under constant threat. It proved to be a game changer, with soldiers reporting the distinct sound of the system with a rapid burst of gunfire, followed by the explosion of intercepted rockets or shells. Over time, the Centurion has evolved into new versions that are faster, more accurate, and easier to operate. Experts have added features like improved sensors and better integration with other defense systems, ensuring that the system remains effective against advanced threats. Its performance in active combat zones has shown how critical it is for modern defense. This system has stopped countless attacks, saved lives, and protected vital assets on the ground. In conflict zones like Iraq, where rockets and mortars are common threats, the weapon has shown its capabilities time and again. The ability to intercept these threats before they reach their targets has been a game changer. One of the system's standout moments came during its early deployment in Iraq. Bases that had previously been vulnerable to rocket and mortar attacks reported a dramatic reduction in successful strikes once the Centurion was installed. Soldiers described the distinct sound of the system firing, followed by the explosion of intercepted rounds. In many cases, the only damage was to the incoming projectile itself, leaving the base and its personnel unharmed. The psychological impact of the weapon's presence cannot be overlooked. Troops who know they are protected by the system report feeling safer and more focused. The knowledge that incoming threats are being actively monitored and intercepted allows them to carry out their duties with greater confidence. The Centurion has also been deployed in smaller outposts in temporary locations. Its mobility and ease of setup make it an ideal solution for protecting high-risk areas that might otherwise be vulnerable. In these situations, the system's ability to quickly neutralize threats has been invaluable. Enemies who know their rockets and mortars are likely to be intercepted are less inclined to launch attacks in the first place. This helps create a safer environment for troops and reduces the overall frequency of attacks. The system's performance is continuously monitored and evaluated. After each engagement, data is collected to determine how effectively the weapon functions. This feedback is used to make adjustments and upgrades, ensuring that the system remains reliable and effective in future deployments. Despite its success, the system is most effective against small-scale attacks, like individual rockets or mortar rounds. Large coordinated attacks or threats from different angles can still pose challenges. However, engineers are constantly working on upgrades to address these issues and improve the system's overall capabilities. It is an impressive system, but the challenges of modern warfare mean that defense technologies must continue to evolve. Engineers and military planners are already looking ahead, developing upgrades and exploring new possibilities to keep systems like the Centurion effective against emerging threats. One area of focus is increasing the system's ability to handle larger and more complex attacks. While the weapon excels at intercepting individual rockets, artillery shells, and mortars, some adversaries now use swarming tactics. These involve launching multiple projectiles at the same time to overwhelm defenses. To counter this, future versions of the Centurion may include faster tracking systems, higher ammunition capacity, and smarter targeting algorithms capable of prioritizing threats. Another significant area of development is the use of directed energy weapons, like lasers. Lasers offer several advantages over traditional ammunition. They do not require physical rounds, which eliminates the need for reloading and reduces mobility. Lasers can also fire continuously and precisely, making them ideal for neutralizing swarming attacks or other high-speed threats. Adding this technology to the system could significantly enhance its capabilities. Adding artificial intelligence can help the system process data more quickly and make better decisions during an attack. For example, artificial intelligence could analyze the trajectory and speed of multiple incoming threats and determine the best way to intercept them simultaneously. This would allow the weapon to respond even more effectively in high-pressure situations. Expanding the Centurion detection range is also a priority. Current systems are designed to protect relatively small areas, like military bases or specific zones. Future advancements could include more powerful radar systems capable of monitoring larger regions. This would allow the system to defend multiple locations at once, increasing its overall effectiveness. Another area of improvement is mobility. While the current system is portable, future versions could be designed to move even more easily. This might include putting the system on lighter, faster vehicles, or adding it to drone technology. A drone-based Centurion could provide mobile protection for troops on the move, ensuring continuous defense in dynamic environments. Its ability to integrate with other military technologies is also expected to improve. As more advanced drones, satellites, and communication networks become available, the Centurion will likely be connected to a broader defense infrastructure. This will create a more coordinated system where information about threats is shared in real time across multiple platforms. Energy efficiency is another key area of focus. Current systems rely on a combination of onboard generators and external power supplies. Engineers are exploring ways to reduce energy consumption, making the system more sustainable and easier to operate in remote locations. Solar panels, advanced batteries, or hybrid power solutions could play a role in future designs. Improving the system's ability to defend against traditional threats is also on the agenda. Small drones are becoming an increasingly common tool in modern warfare. They are fast and difficult to detect. Future versions of the system may include specialized sensors and targeting systems to address this growing threat. Lastly, the cost of maintaining and upgrading the weapon is an ongoing consideration. Military budgets are often expensive, and high costs can limit the deployment of advanced systems. By focusing on cost-effective materials and maintenance processes, engineers aim to make the system more accessible and easy to deploy. The most advanced heavy-lift helicopter ever built is about to be transported. Japan's brand new $500 million CH-53 is being loaded into the massive C-5 for air delivery by the United States. But moving such a huge machine is not easy. Crews must carefully remove parts, secure every section, and ensure nothing goes wrong. One mistake could cause serious damage. How does this giant helicopter fit inside the aircraft? What makes this mission so difficult? Join us as we explore how the U.S. is loading Japan's brand new $500 million CH-53 helicopters into massive C-5 for air delivery. The United States has built a helicopter that is stronger and more advanced than any heavy-lift helicopter before it. The CH-53 is one of the latest helicopters made for carrying large and heavy loads over long distances. It is designed to lift more weight, fly in worse conditions, and make work easier for the pilots. This helicopter is completely different from the older models, and it comes with new technology that makes it the best. For many years, helicopters have been used to move supplies, transport troops, and carry weapons into battle. But as time passed, the need for a stronger and smarter helicopter became clear. The older models had been in use for many years, but it was time for something different, and then the CH-53 was built. This helicopter can fly, travel farther, and take off in places where other helicopters would struggle. It can operate in hot deserts, cold mountains, and on ships in rough waters, but not for a long period of time. This helicopter was built to handle missions that no other heavy-lift helicopter could do before. The United States is not the only country that needs a helicopter like this. Japan has also decided to use this powerful machine. With the CH-53, Japan will be able to move troops and equipment quickly, respond to emergencies faster, and carry out military missions with better efficiency. This is important because the areas where Japan operates are full of islands and rough places, making helicopters the best way to transport heavy loads. The pilots who fly this helicopter have better systems to help them navigate, land, and take off in difficult conditions. The engines are stronger, the controls are better, and the entire helicopter is made to be as reliable as possible. In the past, helicopters had to be careful about how far they traveled with a full load. But this helicopter is designed to carry the weight of armored vehicles, large supplies, and important equipment. But the engineers noticed that this helicopter could do better, and it was decided to be upgraded. $500 million is said to be used to upgrade the old version of CH-53 helicopter. Every part of this helicopter has been upgraded, and it starts with what gives it power, which is the engine. The engines inside the helicopter are the strongest ever put into a heavy helicopter. They give it the ability to carry more weight than usual, fly higher than expected, and go farther without struggling a bit. The older version had to work harder to carry heavy loads. They used engines that needed more fuel and could not always handle the demands of modern missions. The brand new helicopter has new engines that produce more power while using fuel in a better way. This means that it can lift heavier loads without slowing down. It can also fly for a longer time before needing to refuel. But the engine is not only known for its power because it can do more than that. The engine can help the helicopter perform better in tough conditions. While the older version of this helicopter had issues with places like the deserts, mountains, and oceans, this one does not have this problem. The engines are designed to handle hot temperatures, thin air, and long-distance flights without losing power. Another big improvement is how this helicopter controls itself in the air. Pilots no longer have to fight to keep the helicopter steady. The brand new CH-53 comes with new fly-by-wire controls. This means that computers help the pilot control the helicopter. The system makes sure that the helicopter stays balanced, even in rough weather. It also helps the pilot make better movements, making flying easier and smoother. Fly-by-wire systems are used in modern fighter jets, but heavy helicopters like this have never had them before. The new CH-53 is the first to use this advanced technology. The older version needed pilots to make constant adjustments to keep the helicopter stable. This new system does that work automatically. The pilot can now focus on flying the mission instead of making small corrections every time. Inside the cockpit, everything is different compared to the old versions. The screens are bigger, the buttons are easier to use, and the information is clearer. In the older versions, the pilots had to read many different gauges and dials to know what was happening with the helicopter. But the new CH-53 gives them everything they need on digital screens. This makes it easier to understand fuel levels, altitude, speed, and other important details. The new cockpit also has better night vision and navigation systems. Older helicopters struggled to fly at night or in bad weather. Pilots had to rely on what they could see with their own eyes. This advanced helicopter has cameras, sensors, and radar that help pilots see in the dark through fog and in storms. No matter what the weather is like, this helicopter can complete its mission. Communication is another important area where this helicopter stands out. In the previous versions, talking to other aircraft or ground troops was not always easy. But this new version has improved radios and communication systems that allow it to stay in contact with multiple units at the same time. This is important in military operations where helicopters, ground forces, and command centers need to work together. This helicopter also has better self-defense systems. In battle, helicopters are often targeted by enemy missiles and weapons. This helicopter is designed to protect itself. It has systems that detect incoming threats and release flares or other countermeasures to avoid being hit. Other helicopters did not have strong defense systems, but this advanced helicopter was built to survive in dangerous areas. The materials used to build this helicopter are also better. It is made from stronger, lighter materials that allow it to carry more weight without being too heavy. Normally, helicopters have to choose between being tough and being light, but this upgraded helicopter does not have to make that choice. It is strong enough to handle rough landings and heavy loads, but light enough to fly efficiently. Another important upgrade is how this helicopter handles damage. In war zones, helicopters often take hits from enemy fire to the point that small damage could cause serious problems. The new CH-53 is built to keep flying even if some parts are damaged. It has backup systems that allow it to complete its mission and return safely. Maintenance is also easier with this helicopter. Other helicopters took a long time to replace because they had complicated systems that required a lot of work. The brand new helicopter is designed to be easier to fix. The parts are made in a way that allows them to be replaced quickly. The maintenance crew can get the helicopter ready for its next mission faster than ever before. The way this helicopter handles fuel is also improved. Older ones needed refueling more often, which made missions take longer. The new CH-53 can carry more fuel and use it better. It also has the ability to refuel in the air, meaning it can stay in flight for a long time without having to land. Everything about this helicopter is designed for modern missions. It is stronger, faster, and more advanced than any heavy-lift helicopter. It has better engines, better controls, better protection, and better technology inside. Every part of it is made to help the pilots do their job more easily and safely. The brand new CH-53 is a helicopter made for the future. It is made to handle the needs of modern missions, from military operations to rescue missions. This helicopter is a completely new way of thinking about how heavy-lift helicopters should work. It is the strongest, smartest, and most reliable helicopter ever made. And now it is ready to be used in ways that will change how missions are carried out across the world. This is the next generation of heavy-lift helicopters, and it is built to stay ahead for many years to come. Now, this brand new $500 million CH-53 is about to be loaded inside the massive C-5 for air delivery. But one important thing to note is that moving heavy equipment across the world is not easy to do. Ships take too long and smaller aircraft cannot carry enough. Some places have no roads, making ground transport impossible. The military needed a way to move the biggest and heaviest machines fast. That is where the C-5 comes in. It is the largest transport aircraft used by the United States military. It is built to carry tanks, helicopters, and supplies across long distances without stopping. This aircraft is a machine designed for heavy lifting. It has a massive cargo hold that can fit the largest military equipment. It can carry an entire helicopter, armored vehicles, and even multiple trucks at the same time. No other aircraft in the United States military can carry as much as this one. Loading this aircraft is different from loading other planes. It has a unique design that allows cargo to enter from both the front and the back. This makes loading and unloading faster. Other transport planes have only one cargo door, meaning everything must be moved in and out from the same side. The C-5 does not face this type of challenge. It allows crews to load from the front and unload from the back, saving time during missions. The size of this plane allows it to carry more supplies in a single trip. Instead of making multiple flights, it can complete the mission at once. This is important in military operations where time is critical. Troops need their equipment fast, and the C-5 delivers without delay. The engines on this plane are stronger than those on older versions of the aircraft. They allow it to take off with heavier loads and fly longer distances without stopping. Back then, transport planes had to land for refueling on long flights. This aircraft reduces the need for stops, making global transport easier. The aircraft is also built for rough conditions. It can take off and land on short runways, allowing it to reach remote bases. It can operate in extreme weather, flying through storms and harsh environments without trouble. One of the biggest challenges in military transport is moving helicopters. Helicopters are large, heavy, and difficult to transport by air. The C-5 is one of the few aircraft that can carry helicopters. Most transport planes require helicopters to be taken apart before they can be loaded. This aircraft's cargo hold is big enough to fit helicopters without removing parts of it so that it could fit in. This makes it easier to move helicopters across long distances and have them ready to fly as soon as they arrive. This transport aircraft also has an advanced loading system. In other transport planes, crews had to rely on external equipment to move cargo inside, but this plane has built-in ramps and a winch system that allows it to pull heavy loads into the aircraft. This means that helicopters, tanks, and trucks can be loaded without the need for extra machines. The process is faster, more efficient, and reduces the number of people needed to complete the job. The crew inside this transport aircraft is small, but they are highly trained. The aircraft is operated by a few pilots and loadmasters who are responsible for ensuring everything is packed and secured correctly. Loadmasters must know how to balance the cargo to prevent weight issues during flight. Every item inside the aircraft is secured to prevent movement. If cargo is not locked in place, it can shift during flight and cause problems. Another feature that makes C-5 special is that it has the ability to refuel in the air. This means that it does not have to land to get more fuel. This allows it to stay in the air longer and transport supplies over greater distances without stopping. This feature is especially important during military missions where time is critical. The C-5 is also used for another mission. When there is war, roads are often destroyed and ships take too long to arrive. This transport plane can carry emergency supplies, food, medical equipment, and rescue vehicles to areas that need help fast. It has played a major role in natural disasters by delivering important things needed to people affected by hurricanes, earthquakes, and other natural disasters. The size and strength of this plane make it one of the most important aircraft in military transport. Without it, moving large equipment would take much longer. It allows the military to respond to emergencies faster, supply troops more efficiently, and deliver heavy equipment anywhere in the world. The C-5 should not be seen as an ordinary transport plane, but it should be seen as a machine built for speed, power, and efficiency. It is designed to handle the toughest missions, carrying the heaviest loads across the longest distances. Whether moving helicopters, tanks, or emergency supplies, the C-5 is built to get the job done. Meanwhile, moving a CH-53 is not simple. It is one of the biggest helicopters in the world. It is wide, tall, and built to carry heavy loads. Now that it needs to be transported across long distance to another country, it cannot always fly by itself. This is why the C-5 is needed. This massive aircraft is one of the only planes big enough to carry the CH-53. But fitting such a huge helicopter inside a transport aircraft is not easy. It takes careful planning, skilled crews, and precise movements to make it work. The first step in loading this huge helicopter into the massive transport aircraft is preparation. The helicopter is too tall to fit inside the cargo hold as it is. To make it small enough, some parts must be removed. The rotor blades, which are long and extend outward, are taken off. The tail section is also removed. These parts are carefully placed on transport racks so they can be reattached later. Even with these parts removed, the helicopter is still a massive piece of equipment. Once the helicopter is prepared, it is moved closer to the aircraft. This process must be done carefully. The plane sits low to the ground when loading, using a special system to lower its nose. This helps create a straight path for cargo to enter. A team of loadmasters, ground crew, and engineers work together to make sure everything is lined up correctly. If the helicopter is not perfectly positioned, it will not fit inside. The next step is moving the helicopter into the aircraft. This is not a simple task. The helicopter is pulled inside using a powerful winch system. This system slowly moves the helicopter forward, making sure that it does not hit the sides or the ceiling of the cargo hold. The clearance is small, and there is not much space between the helicopter and the walls of the aircraft. Every movement must be controlled with precision. As the helicopter moves inside, the loadmasters keep checking the position. They look at every angle, making sure it is aligned properly. If anything is even slightly off, they stop and make adjustments. They also watch for any parts of the helicopter that could get caught on the edges of the cargo bay. The process is slow, but it has to be done correctly. Once the CH-53 is fully inside, it must be secured. The helicopter cannot just sit freely in the cargo hold. If it moves during flight, there will be serious issues. Strong straps and chains are used to lock it in place. These are attached to special anchor points in the floor of the C-5. The loadmasters check every connection twice in order to make sure that the helicopter is completely secured. Though the C-5 is designed to carry heavy loads, but balance is really important. If the weight is not distributed correctly, the aircraft will not fly properly. The loadmasters calculate the weight of the helicopter and adjust the placement of other cargo if needed. Everything inside must be arranged in order to keep the aircraft stable during flight. Once the helicopter is secured, the crew prepares for the takeoff. The powerful engines of the aircraft are started, and it begins to walk down the runway. The pilots carefully lift off, making sure that the aircraft handles properly with the heavy load inside. During flight, the crew continues to monitor the cargo. They check the straps and make sure that nothing is shifted, and also confirm that everything remains secure. When the aircraft arrives at its destination, unloading the CH-53 is just as important as loading it. The process is done in reverse. The straps are removed, and the winch system carefully pulls the helicopter out of the cargo hold. Ground crews are ready to reattach the rotor blades and tail section so the helicopter can fly again. Transporting a CH-53 and a C-5 is not just about moving a helicopter. It is about precision, skill, and teamwork. The entire process must be done perfectly to make sure the helicopter arrives safely and is ready for action. Whether for military missions, disaster relief, or strategic deployments, the ability to transport such a large helicopter quickly is a major advantage. The C-5 and CH-53 together create a powerful combination. One is built for transport, and the other is built for heavy lifting. When they work together, they make sure that military forces can move fast, respond quickly, and complete their missions wherever they are needed. In a world where military aviation constantly advances in speed, stealth, and technology, one aircraft is set to change the skies: the SR-72 Darkstar. This secretive, powerful plane has captivated aviation enthusiasts, defense experts, and tech futurists alike. It's been the subject of rumors and mystery for years, often compared to its legendary predecessor, the SR-71 Blackbird. Now in 2025, after years of delays and speculation, the U.S. Air Force has announced the SR-72 Darkstar is ready for action. What does this mean for global defense, and how does this new plane stack up against aviation legends? Join us on this journey into the fascinating world of the SR-72 Darkstar as USAF declared it's finally ready for 2025. The legendary SR-71 Blackbird traces back to a pivotal moment in the 1960s, a time of intense Cold War tensions. It all began with an alarming incident involving pilot Gary Powers, whose U-2C Dragon Lady reconnaissance plane was shot down by a surface-to-air missile over Soviet territory. This dramatic event sent shockwaves through the United States and highlighted a critical vulnerability in its aerial reconnaissance strategy. At the time, the rapid advancements in radar and missile technology by the Soviet Union posed a significant threat. U.S. officials quickly realized that the Dragon Lady, impressive as it was, would become increasingly exposed to enemy defenses. It was clear that relying on the U-2 for future reconnaissance missions was no longer viable. A new solution was urgently needed. In late 1957, the CIA approached Lockheed with a bold request to design an entirely new spy plane. This cutting-edge aircraft was codenamed Archangel, a name that paid homage to the earlier U-2 program, which had been nicknamed Angel. The project was entrusted to none other than Kelly Johnson, the brilliant and visionary head of Lockheed's top-secret Skunk Works division in Burbank, California. The mission was ambitious, yet simple in concept: build a plane that could fly higher and faster than anything the world had seen. At the same time, stealth was becoming an increasingly critical factor. By 1959, following an important meeting with the CIA, the design was further refined to dramatically reduce its radar cross-section, cutting it by an astonishing 90%. This leap in innovation laid the foundation for the development of the SR-71 Blackbird, an aircraft destined to become a marvel of engineering and a symbol of American ingenuity during the Cold War. When the revolutionary aircraft was in its design phase, the name Archangel was initially chosen. However, as the project evolved, only the first letter A and the number 12, representing the 12th design iteration, remained from the original name. This choice wasn't random. It was the result of careful deliberation by the legendary Skunk Works team, a division of Lockheed Martin known for its groundbreaking innovations in aviation. This is how the A-12, a sleek and secretive masterpiece, got its name. The rebranding wasn't just about simplifying the name, it was also a strategic move. By adopting a more subdued and technical-sounding title, the project aligned with military naming conventions and avoided drawing unnecessary attention from foreign intelligence agencies, particularly during a time when Cold War tensions were at their peak. The cloak of secrecy was vital, as the A-12 was designed to be a cutting-edge replacement for the U-2 spy plane, tasked with gathering intelligence over high-risk areas like the Soviet Union and Cuba. However, the landscape of aerial reconnaissance was changing rapidly. By the time the A-12 was ready for action, its mission objectives had started to lose relevance. Advances in Soviet radar technology significantly improved their ability to detect and track high-altitude aircraft, making the A-12 vulnerable despite its impressive speed and altitude capabilities. At the same time, satellite reconnaissance technology had leaped forward. By 1965, spy satellites were providing clear, reliable intelligence without the need to risk manned flights over hostile territory. These developments effectively rendered the A-12's primary mission, overflights of the USSR, obsolete before it could fully demonstrate its potential. Even though the 13 A-12 spy planes were officially retired in 1968, they still had one last incredible moment of glory. In a mission called Operation Black Shield, these planes flew over North Korea at speeds of about Mach 3.1 and reached a jaw-dropping altitude of 88,000 feet. Their mission is to photograph surface-to-air missile sites in North Vietnam. Despite being retired, these legendary planes still demonstrated just how advanced they were for their time. But even before the A-12 was officially grounded, the SR-71 Blackbird was already making waves. In November 1967, both the A-12 and the SR-71 flew 3 identical routes along the Mississippi River, about an hour apart. Both planes had their data collection systems running full tilt, capturing invaluable intelligence. While the A-12's camera had a wider field of view, the SR-71's technology gave it a major edge. Not only did it capture better quality images, but it also could gather a type of intelligence the A-12 couldn't: signals intelligence. What made the SR-71 even more impressive was its versatility. Unlike the A-12, which was a specialized one-seat stealth craft used for rare high-stakes missions. The SR-71 had a two-seat cockpit, allowing it to be flown by a pilot and a reconnaissance systems officer. It also had a larger fuel capacity, making it more suited for longer, more routine flights. In comparison, the A-12 was mostly reserved for high-priority, one-off operations, whereas the SR-71 was designed for everyday reconnaissance missions with greater flexibility. When the SR-71 Blackbird was introduced into service in 1966, it quickly became a game-changer, shattering virtually every speed and altitude record in aviation history. To this day, nearly 5 decades later, it remains a technological marvel. Designed by the brilliant American aerospace engineer Clarence Kelly Johnson, the SR-71 was part of a highly classified black project by the U.S. government, just like its successor, the SR-72. But this aircraft wasn't just a record breaker. It also instilled fear across the globe. Nations, especially China, recognized the SR-71 as a symbol of unmatched military power. With a top speed of more than twice the speed of sound and an unparalleled ability to outrun enemy jets, it truly set itself apart from anything in the skies. The SR-71 was designed to fly so high and fast that intercepting it was almost impossible. The jet cost a staggering $292 million, a price tag that reflected its cutting-edge technology and advanced materials. One of its most unique features was its construction using titanium, one of the strongest metals on Earth. This choice wasn't just for durability, it was essential for maintaining the plane's stealth capabilities. Titanium could withstand the immense heat generated by the aircraft's high speeds, and it helped ensure that the SR-71 remained difficult to detect by enemy radar. Designed primarily as a reconnaissance plane, the SR-71 was equipped with top-secret advanced sensors, a powerful radar system, and a high-definition camera capable of gathering intelligence from a range of sources. It could capture images, intercept signals, and measure radar signatures, all while flying at speeds of over 2,000 miles per hour, making it the ultimate spy in the sky. The SR-71 Blackbird was an extraordinary aircraft, equipped with 2 incredible Pratt & Whitney J58 engines. Each engine could generate a massive 32,000 pounds of thrust, allowing the Blackbird to reach speeds of up to Mach 3.2. This supersonic speed, combined with a flight ceiling of 85,000 feet, placed the Blackbird in the near edge of space category. At these altitudes, pilots had to wear pressurized suits, similar to those worn by astronauts, to survive the extreme conditions. Given its remarkable capabilities, it's no surprise that NASA, with its focus on space exploration, operated the SR-71 alongside the U.S. Air Force. The Blackbird's design was so advanced that it didn't need weapons. Instead, it relied on speed to stay safe. If an enemy missile or round was fired at it, the SR-71 simply accelerated, outrunning whatever was shot at it. This unmatched speed meant that, despite being shot numerous times, no SR-71 was ever brought down. To this day, the SR-71 holds the record as the fastest and highest-flying operational aircraft in history. It's a distinction that underscores its exceptional engineering. It remains the fastest jet aircraft in the world, thanks to its cruising speed and ability to sustain such speeds at incredible altitudes. One of its most notable achievements was setting the record for the fastest flight time between London and New York in 1974, completing the journey in just over 3 hours. Since the start of Blackbird reconnaissance missions over North Vietnam and Laos in 1968, these daring flights became a regular part of the mission schedule. Initially, the SR-71 conducted 1 mission per week, which lasted for almost 2 years. By 1970, the frequency increased to 2 flights each week, and by 1972, the Blackbird was flying daily. This intense operational tempo meant the aircraft was constantly in the skies, gathering vital intelligence. During the height of the Vietnam War, the SR-71 faced a relentless barrage of air defense systems from the North Vietnamese. They launched an astonishing 800 missiles at the Blackbird, yet not a single one ever hit its mark. The speed and agility of the SR-71 allowed it to outrun these missiles with ease. Throughout its service, the SR-71 dodged over 4,000 missiles, a truly remarkable feat that speaks to the advanced technology and incredible design of this high-flying, ultra-fast aircraft. This incredible aircraft could outrun missiles by simply accelerating to its maximum speed. Pilots often described it as putting the pedal to the metal and watching the Blackbird vanish into the horizon. However, as awe-inspiring as it was, the plane's high production and maintenance costs became a major hurdle. By 1989, the U.S. Air Force proposed retiring the Blackbird, a decision that sparked heated debates among aviation enthusiasts and experts. Many Blackbird fans firmly believed the retirement was due to a lack of understanding and appreciation for the SR-71's unmatched capabilities, both in Congress and certain parts of the military. Critics of the program often exaggerated the costs, claiming expenses ranged between $400 and $700 million annually, with an eye-watering $85,000 cost for a single hour of flight. These inflated figures didn't help the Blackbird's case. And by the early 1990s, only NASA was operating the last two airworthy Blackbirds. The rest of these legendary aircraft were decommissioned and put on display in museums, where they remain iconic reminders of a bygone era of aviation excellence. For years, nothing seemed to fill the void left by the SR-71. Engineers struggled to design an aircraft that could match, let alone surpass, its speed, altitude, and reconnaissance abilities. But now American ingenuity has taken a giant leap forward with the development of a game-changing aircraft, the Dark Star. This next-generation marvel reportedly surpasses even the sixth-generation fighters in technology and performance. Whispers of its capabilities are mind-blowing. There's some interesting secret information circulating about a mysterious aircraft that reportedly has the most powerful laser ever created. Despite these claims, the U.S. Air Force didn't officially acknowledge the aircraft's existence for a long time. They made no announcements at all. However, the secrecy surrounding this aircraft began to lift when Lockheed Martin, the company behind its development, finally confirmed they were working on the SR-72 project. They revealed that a prototype is expected to take flight soon, which sparked even more curiosity. Interestingly, the U.S. Air Force also made an official statement, confirming the existence of the Dark Star. Many people refer to this top-secret aircraft as the SR-72 Dark Star, but that's not quite accurate. It doesn't have an official name yet, and calling it Dark Star is just a nickname that's been loosely attached to it, perhaps due to its mysterious nature. Some even call it the son of the Blackbird, referring to its legendary predecessor, the SR-71 Blackbird, which was one of the fastest and most iconic planes in history. The tradition of giving military aircraft nicknames, like the F-15 Eagle or the B-2 Spirit, usually follows military protocols, historical traditions, or even practical reasons tied to the aircraft's design and capabilities. The fascinating tale of the Dark Star aircraft's development intertwines two worlds, the entertainment industry and the military. At the time, they were already in the process of developing a high-speed aircraft for the military, making this request feel almost like fate. This cutting-edge aircraft was being developed by Skunk Works, a secretive division within Lockheed Martin. The origins of Skunk Works go way back to World War II. The name was coined by the legendary engineer Kelly Johnson, who led a team of engineers working on top-secret military aircraft. Skunk Works is a powerhouse of innovation, known for its groundbreaking work in aviation technology. They are the team responsible for designing some of the most advanced aircraft in history, including the F-22 and the F-35 stealth fighters. These are not just any jets, they represent the cutting edge of military air power. Since 1998, Skunk Works has been on a mission to build a fighter jet that could achieve speeds far beyond what was previously thought possible, aiming to replace the legendary SR-71 Blackbird. However, the journey to create a new jet capable of such extreme speeds hasn't been easy. It's been filled with challenges that have pushed the boundaries of what modern technology can handle. One of the most ambitious projects in this quest is the Hypersonic Technology Vehicle 2, developed as part of DARPA's Falcon project. The HTV-2 was a rocket-launched, uncrewed aircraft designed to fly at mind-boggling speeds, traveling through Earth's atmosphere at more than 5 times the speed of sound. The project's primary goal was to collect critical data on aerodynamics, guidance, navigation, control, and the intense heat effects generated when traveling at hypersonic speeds. This project represented a leap in aviation research, as it allowed engineers to study how materials and designs behave under the extreme conditions that such high speeds create. Though the HTV-2 faced significant hurdles and didn't complete all of its test flights successfully, it provided valuable insights into the future of hypersonic flight. an area that could revolutionize travel and warfare in the years to come. The F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Lightning II are often hailed as the true rock stars of their respective generations of fighter jets. These cutting-edge machines are revered not just for their advanced technology, but also for their impressive capabilities in air combat. However, while these fighters are built for dominance in the skies, they serve a different purpose than the aircraft designed for reconnaissance and surveillance. Back in 2013, Lockheed Martin made a bold announcement that captured the attention of the aviation world. The company revealed the SR-72, the long-awaited successor to the legendary SR-71 Blackbird, a plane that has achieved almost mythical status in aviation history. Known as the son of Blackbird, the SR-72 was promised to have the same size as its predecessor, but with a game-changing twist, it would be capable of reaching speeds of up to Mach 6, or 6 times the speed of sound. Naturally, this revelation sent shockwaves through both the media and aviation enthusiasts alike. After all, the only aircraft ever known to reach such speeds before had been the experimental North American X-15, a plane that's etched in the history books for its pioneering achievements. But what stunned the aviation world wasn't just the speed. Lockheed Martin was also describing the SR-72 as a platform designed for intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance missions. The idea of a hypersonic aircraft used for such sensitive tasks seemed like something out of a futuristic sci-fi movie. Many initially thought Lockheed had been exaggerating or dreaming big, but as details emerged, it became clear that the SR-72 was indeed an advanced concept, a hypersonic UAV, not just a faster manned jet. The SR-72's role as an ISR platform would revolutionize how military forces gather intelligence. It could cover vast distances in no time, gather crucial data, and return without being detected by enemy radar, all while traveling at mind-boggling speeds. The main goal for the brilliant engineers at Skunk Works was, as expected, the development of an engine for a futuristic drone. But this wasn't just any ordinary engine. It had to be capable of handling multiple flight modes simultaneously: subsonic, supersonic, and even hypersonic speeds. This was no easy task because the drone had to reach design speeds that were nothing short of extraordinary. By 2013, the Skunk Works team had been collaborating with Aerojet Rocketdyne for over 7 years. Together, they worked on an innovative method to integrate a conventional turbine engine with a powerful hypersonic ramjet engine. The goal was to create an engine that could take the drone from a standstill up to speeds of Mach 6 and beyond. The engine's development started with 2 reliable and well-established engines: the Pratt & Whitney F100 and the General Electric F110 turbofan engines. These were used as the foundation for the drone's propulsion system. They provided the necessary thrust to get the drone off the ground and accelerate it to supersonic speeds, just like a typical fighter jet. But that was just the beginning. Once the drone reached Mach 3, something extraordinary happened. The next phase of the engine kicked in, possibly a dual-mode ramjet engine. This phase relied on the intense pressure of incoming air at supersonic speeds, paired with a variable air intake system. The intake was designed to create controlled shock waves that compressed the air for efficient combustion. This clever system not only helped the drone surpass the legendary Mach 3 speeds of the iconic SR-71 Blackbird, but it also allowed it to push past the hypersonic barrier of Mach 5. The second big challenge for the son of Blackbird is almost certainly going to be dealing with extreme temperatures. As the glider speeds through the atmosphere at insane rates, the combination of heat and friction could turn it into a puddle of molten metal if not properly managed. The specialists on the team will need to carefully design the aircraft to make sure it can survive these intense conditions. To keep things in check, they'll likely use high-performance composites, advanced materials made from a mix of carbon fibers, ceramics, and metals. These materials are known for their strength and heat resistance, especially when it comes to critical parts of the UAV. For comparison, steel begins to melt at around 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, but the son of Blackbird will need to handle temperatures of at least 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, or even more, to stay intact. To make that possible, experts will have to use cutting-edge technologies that ensure the glider remains in one piece at these scorching temperatures. Now, the United States has become the world leader in hypersonic technology thanks to some incredible breakthroughs by NASA and Boeing. For example, NASA's X-43 and Boeing's X-51 programs paved the way for understanding the challenges of flying at hypersonic speeds. After achieving these successes, however, the U.S. shifted its focus toward countering the global terrorism threat for a few decades. But things are changing again. In 2017, Rob Weiss, the executive vice president of Lockheed Martin and CEO of Skunk Works, the secretive division known for its cutting-edge aerospace projects, announced that the hypersonic propulsion testing for the SR-72 was complete. This was a major milestone in the development of the son of Blackbird. With that phase wrapped up, the team was ready to move on to the next stage, building the SR-72 flight research vehicle. This prototype, roughly the size of an F-22 Raptor, will be equipped with a single engine capable of reaching Mach 6, 6 times the speed of sound, and maintaining that speed for several minutes. Just a year later, Lockheed Vice President Jack O'Banion offered some fascinating insights into the company's incredible strides in additive manufacturing and computer modeling. He revealed that building such a complex system in the early 2010s would have been practically impossible. Thanks to advancements in 3D printing, Lockheed was able to design and build the device with incredible precision, even incorporating an integrated engine cooling system. Fast forward to March 2018, when Russian President Vladimir Putin shook the global defense world by announcing the start of an unofficial hypersonic arms race. He introduced the world to Russia's cutting-edge X-47M2 Kinzhal hypersonic missile. Shortly after, the SR-72 program, a long-rumored hypersonic project by Lockheed, seemed to vanish from public view. It was as if everything related to the SR-72, including Lockheed's partnership with Aerojet Rocketdyne, had been placed on the back burner. However, this doesn't mean the SR-72 project was entirely forgotten. Representatives from Lockheed and the U.S. Air Force have continued to mention the potential use of next-generation hypersonic vehicles, including the SR-72, as platforms for launching hypersonic missiles. But launching such missiles at high speeds isn't without its immense engineering hurdles. The extreme pressure and temperatures generated during hypersonic flight create a string of challenges that scientists and engineers have yet to fully overcome. Martin has already demonstrated that launching air-to-air missiles at speeds exceeding Mach 3 is not only possible, but a reality. This was achieved using the YF-12 prototype interceptors, which made waves in the aviation community. However, around a certain point, the SR-72 seemed to fade from public view, as if it had disappeared entirely. But then in 2021, something interesting happened. The U.S. Air Force's Profession of Arms Center of Excellence released a video showing a single-engine flight research aircraft that bore a striking resemblance to previous renderings of the SR-72. Fast forward to 2022, and things got even more interesting. The much-anticipated sequel to Top Gun Maverick, hit theaters, and within its action-packed scenes, audiences were treated to a glimpse of a mysterious hypersonic aircraft. Known as Dark Star, it closely mirrored the design of the SR-72, and rumors quickly swirled about the role of Lockheed Martin's legendary Skunk Works engineers in bringing this futuristic aircraft to life. Although it's highly unlikely that filmmakers managed to accelerate an actual jet to Mach 10 for cinematic thrills, the film's producer casually, or perhaps not so casually, mentioned that the U.S. Navy had become aware of Chinese satellites seemingly keeping a close eye on the Dark Star. The producer even joked about how, to avoid unwanted attention, he had to change his route to capture specific shots of the aircraft. In recent discussions, it has been revealed that the first flight of the SR-72 prototype is now scheduled for 2025, with hopes to see the aircraft enter service as early as 2030. This marks an exciting step forward, considering that back in the early 1930s, the U.S. Air Force had ambitious plans to roll out its sixth-generation fighter jet, which shows just how far technology has come since then. However, there's a lot to juggle in terms of budget and resources. The U.S. Air Force is aiming to bring not just the SR-72 into operation, but also the cutting-edge B-21 Raider bombers. Hundreds of collaborative combat drones are also in the works, all set to become key players in the future of the U.S. Air Force's fleet. With all these powerful new aircraft in development, it's clear that the military is pushing the boundaries of aerospace technology. The pressure to balance these high-tech innovations alongside existing commitments is enormous, and it remains to be seen whether the defense budget can handle the weight of these iron birds flying in tandem. The competition for military dominance is shifting rapidly, And these advanced aircraft will undoubtedly play a key role in shaping the future of global defense strategies. What does $200 million buy in today's military? Not a fleet of jets or an advanced warship, but one extraordinary drone. This is not an average flying robot. It is a game changer that can stay in the air longer, see farther, and do more than anything that came before it. While most aircraft need to land after a few hours, this drone can circle the Earth twice without ever touching the ground. Why would the military spend this much on a single drone? And what makes this particular aircraft so valuable that it costs more than a town? Join us as we explore the RQ-4 UAV, a groundbreaking aerial powerhouse redefining surveillance, intelligence, and global defense strategies. The Northrop Grumman Global Hawk represents a significant advancement in unmanned aerial surveillance technology. The aircraft specializes in extended duration reconnaissance missions, utilizing sophisticated synthetic aperture radar systems and electro-optical infrared sensors. The United States Air Force operates the Global Hawk as part of its fleet. These planes can fly very high and stay up there for hours, making them perfect for gathering information that helps military operations worldwide. However, the program ended up costing way more than planned. Initially, the Air Force wanted to buy 63 planes, but had to cut that down to 45. Each plane started out costing $10 million in 1994, but by 2001, that price jumped to nearly $61 million per plane. By 2013, each cost over $131 million. Because of these high costs, they considered grounding 21 of their unique intelligence gathering models in 2013. The Air Force worked on 2 robot planes in the 90s to gather intelligence. They had the Dark Star, made by Lockheed Martin, designed to fly without being detected. Their other option was the Global Hawk. When money got tight, they had to pick just one. They went with the Global Hawk because it could fly farther and carry more equipment, even though it was not as stealthy as the Dark Star. They needed the planes to give them an advantage in the Middle East. So the Air Force did not wait for all the testing to finish. They sent these early models straight to Afghanistan to help with the war effort. That is pretty unusual, as usually they would wait until all the testing was done. They built 9 more improved versions, called Block 10 aircraft. 2 of these went to the Navy, and they sent another 2 to Iraq to help. They delivered the last Block 10 plane in 2006. The Global Hawk got an upgrade. Engineers made the nose longer and stretched out the wings. This new version, called Block 20, could carry 3,000 pounds of gear, a big improvement over the original. Northrop Grumman unveiled its upgraded Global Hawk in the year 2006, the 17th one they had built. The plane took its first test flight in 2007, going from Palmdale to Edwards Air Force Base in California. They spent 2008 putting it through its paces, ensuring the improvements worked as planned. The Navy wanted to see if the Global Hawk could work over oceans, so they got 2 Block 10 planes to test. They named them N1 and N2. They did some quick tests at Edwards Air Force Base. Then in 2006, they moved the first plane to their testing site at Patuxent River. A special Navy test group called VX-20 took charge of trying out these maritime patrol versions. The Global Hawk maritime demonstration aircraft first appeared at RIMPAC, a major naval exercise near Hawaii, in July 2006. The drone flew from Point Mugu Naval Base in California, making 4 round trips of about 2,500 miles each way. During its 24 hours in the air, it worked closely with 2 ships, the USS Abraham Lincoln, an aircraft carrier, and the USS Bonhomme Richard, an amphibious assault ship. The Global Hawk's mission was clear: watch the oceans, monitor ships, and take photos during exercises. All the images were sent to Patuxent River Naval Air Station for analysis before being sent to Navy ships near Hawaii. Northrop Grumman saw an opportunity and entered their RQ-4B drone in a Navy competition for a new surveillance aircraft. It paid off. In April 2008, they won a contract worth $1,160 million. The Navy first called it the RQ-4N, but in 2010, they gave it a new name, the MQ-4C. While the Navy's MQ-4C Triton and Air Force RQ-4 look alike, they serve different purposes. The Air Force model stays at high altitudes, but the Navy's Triton is more flexible. It can fly at 50,000 feet to search large areas, then drop to 10,000 feet to get a better view of what it finds. This unique flight pattern meant the Triton needed special wings. Though they might look like the Air Force version's wings from the outside, they are much more challenging on the inside. They are also built to handle ice, physical damage, and lightning, features the Air Force model doesn't need since it stays high in the sky. On June 17, 2022, the Navy wrapped up a mission that went way longer than planned. They had brought home their last RQ-4 ABAMS-D drone from the Middle East. What started as a 6-month test turned into a 13-year operation. The Navy had bought 5 Block 10 drones, keeping at least one in the Persian Gulf area since 2009. Over the years, they flew 2,069 missions, logging 42,500 hours in the air. They lost 2 drones, one crashed, and Iran shot down another. Now the Navy has switched to using the newer MQ-4C instead. The Global Hawk program ran into financial trouble in mid-2006, when cost per aircraft jumped 25% higher than expected. This happened because they had to fix design problems and add new features. Congress wasn't happy about the rising costs and threatened to shut down the program if they couldn't prove it was worth the money for national security. To save the project, they reorganized everything in June 2006. The Air Force was supposed to finish testing the drone in 2005, but had to push that back to 2007 because of delays in building and developing it. When they finally released their test report in March 2007, they also decided to stretch out production of 54 aircraft until 2015. The Global Hawk ran into big money problems in mid-2006. Each drone cost 25% more than planned because they needed fixes and upgrades. Congress was not pleased about spending more money and said they might cancel the whole thing if it was not helping national security. To keep the program alive, they made significant changes that June. Testing fell behind schedule, too. The Air Force could not finish their review in 2005 as planned. They had to wait until 2007 because building and developing the drones took longer than expected. When they finally finished testing in March 2007, they spread out the work. They'd now build 54 drones over a longer time, finishing in 2015. In early 2011, the Air Force faced a tough choice about the Global Hawk program. They cut their order of Block 40 drones from 22 to 11 to reduce costs. Then things got interesting. That June, the Pentagon's testing team reported problems with the RQ-4B. It was not performing well enough. But in a surprising twist, that same month, the Secretary of Defense declared the Global Hawk essential for national security. They said a few key things. No other aircraft could do the same job for less money. It saved $220 million per year compared to the U-2 spy plane. It could carry more sensors than the U-2 at once. And if they had to cut spending somewhere else to keep it going, they would. In early 2012, the Pentagon shook things up with its drone plans. They dropped the Global Hawk Block 30. It was eating up too much money, and its sensors were not as sharp as those on the older U-2 spy plane. Instead, they focused on buying more of the newer Block 40 model. The Air Force wanted to retire all their Block 30s, but Congress had other ideas. They told the Air Force to keep flying these drones until at least late 2014. By 2013, the Air Force wanted to buy 45 RQ-4B Global Hawks. However, swapping out the U-2 spy plane for these drones raised some worries. General Mike Hostage, who ran Air Combat Command until 2014, warned that military commanders would have to settle for gear that was only 90% as good and deal with that for 8 years. Running the Global Hawk became much cheaper between 2010 and 2013. The cost for each flight hour dropped from $40,600 to $18,900. Much of this saving came from contractor support costs falling from $25,000 to $11,000 per hour. Flying the drones more often helped spread out these support costs. By 2015, the Air Force wanted to retire all U-2s by 2019. But Lockheed Martin, who made the U-2, said their plane could fly until 2050. The plans for these spy planes kept changing. In early 2018, the Air Force put off retiring the U-2 without setting a new date. Then, in 2020, Their budget papers were confused by suggesting the U-2 might stop flying in 2025. The Air Force had to step in and clear things up. They were not planning to retire it at all. But here's the twist. In the summer of 2022, they announced they would retire the Global Hawk by 2027 instead. Germany's Air Force ordered a special version of the Romeo Quebec 4 Bravo drone called the Eurohawk. They wanted to use it to replace their old Atlantique spy planes, which were part of their Navy's air fleet. This new drone would be packed with special sensors made by European Aeronautic Defense and Space Company, 6 mounted on the wings. The sensors could detect electronic signals and gather intelligence. They were built to be portable. If needed, they could be moved to other aircraft, including ones flown by pilots. The Eurohawk took off for the first time in 2010, not long after they showed it to the public. After a series of test flights at Edwards Air Force Base in California, it made the long journey to Germany in July 2011. The Germans had a clear goal: outfit the drone with specialized spy sensors and get their crews trained on this new piece of equipment. This was meant to be the first of several Eurohawks for Germany's military, though things didn't quite work out that way. But things got messy. Germany's defense ministry knew in 2011 that getting permission to fly in European airspace would be tricky. The drone had problems with its controls, and Northrop Grumman, who made it, would not share critical technical details that Germany needed to check if it was safe to fly. The German Air Force still hoped to give the drone to their 51st Reconnaissance Wing, but these problems were starting to pile up. German media broke a big story in May 2013. The Eurohawk couldn't get approved to fly in Europe or any country following international rules. The problem? It did not have a system to avoid crashing into other aircraft. Fixing this would cost over 600 million euros, about 780 million US dollars. And here's the kicker. Even after spending all that money, there was no guarantee it would pass inspection. Germany pulled the plug on the whole program 2 days after the news broke. The story took a wild turn. In 2012, Germany's defense minister, Thomas de Maizière, was all in on the Eurohawk. But a year later, he did a complete flip and told Parliament the project was an endless nightmare. The government had burned through 562 million euros before shutting it down. But that was not the end of the story. Northrop Grumman and EDS fought back against the decision. They said the media misunderstood the control issues and the high costs. They even made a bold offer. They would finish testing the first drone and build 4 more, promising to keep costs under control. The Eurohawk pulled off something remarkable. In August 2013, it stayed in the air for more than 25 hours without stopping, reaching 58,600 feet high. No other unmanned aircraft that heavy had ever flown that long in Europe without needing more fuel. President Obama set aside $10 million in 2014 to see if they could move the U-2's advanced sensors to the Global Hawk drone. Northrop Grumman gave it a shot the following year. They took 2 necessary sensors from the U-2, the optical bar camera and one called SIRES, and got them working on the drone. It worked so well that they thought they could do the same upgrade to all their Global Hawks. By July 2015, everything was set. The Air Force and Northrop Grumman decided to try out 2 drones with these sensors. They had to add 17 special mounts and change the drone's bottom cover to make it all fit. After tweaking the software, the new design could hold 540 kilos of sensors in a canoe-shaped bay underneath. Northrop Grumman was not done yet. They planned to add another sensor called the MS-177 to the Global Hawk. This new sensor worked well on the E-8C J-STARS plane and would replace the older SIRES 2. Thanks to a rotating camera mount, it could spot things better and see more around it. In February 2016, they proved they were on the right track when the drone flew successfully with the older SIRES 2 sensor. Raytheon built special defenses for the drone. They added sensors that could tell if someone was trying to track it with lasers or radar. They also gave it jamming gear and a decoy it could pull behind it. The Global Hawk is starting a second career. Instead of flying combat missions, it's being turned into something called a range hawk to help test hypersonic missiles. It's a complete change of mission. Now these drones will look up at missiles flying overhead instead of down at the ground. The Pentagon is adding new sensors and moving equipment to track these super-fast missiles. 24 older drones are being converted, 4 Block 20 and 20 Block 30 models. The switch is already working well. The modified Block 10 Range Hawks helped test hypersonic weapons 10 times in 2023. They even managed 2 tests 10 days apart, one over the Atlantic and another over the Pacific. The Global Hawk is not just one drone, but a system with 2 main parts. First, the RQ-4 aircraft carries all the sensors and communication gear. Then there's the ground control, split in 2. One team handles takeoff and landing, while another runs the actual mission. The RQ-4 runs on a Rolls-Royce turbofan engine that puts out 7,050 pounds of thrust. It can carry up to 2,000 pounds of equipment. The body is made from aluminum with a V-shaped tail, and the wings are built from strong composite materials. The Global Hawk started with a model called the RQ-4A Block 10. This first version could carry 2,000 pounds of gear, including radar, regular cameras, and infrared sensors for taking detailed pictures. The military built 7 but stopped using them by 2011. The first production model was the RQ-4A, made for the United States Air Force. 16 of these aircraft were built in total. The later RQ-4B version had several improvements, notably a larger payload capacity. Its wingspan was extended to 130.9 feet, 39.9 meters, and its length grew to 47.7 feet, 14.5 meters. These size and payload increases did come with a trade-off, though. The aircraft's range dropped to 8,700 nautical miles, 16,100 kilometers. NATO developed the RQ-4D Phoenix specifically for its Alliance ground surveillance program. Germany created the RQ-4E Eurohawk version, building on the RQ-4B design, but adding special EADs equipment for gathering intelligence signals. While Germany planned to buy 5 Eurohawks, they scrapped the program in May 2013 after getting just 1 aircraft. The MQ-4C Triton, previously known as the RQ-4N, was developed for the United States Navy to handle broad maritime surveillance. The Navy has ordered 4 and plans to get 68 of them eventually. The EQ-4B variant is equipped with special communications gear called the Battlefield Airborne Communications Node System, or BACN. Finally, a proposed KQX version would have worked as a self-flying refueling tanker, though this never reached the planning stage. These upgrades show how the Global Hawk kept getting better at its job. It was adapted to meet new military needs, from taking pictures to relaying messages. The switch from a 2,000-pound to a 3,000-pound payload meant it could carry more advanced gear, making it more useful in more situations. Back in the 1950s, America faced a terrifying threat. Soviet bombers loaded with nuclear weapons could strike the United States at any time. The military needed something incredible to stop them. Their answer? The XF-108 Rapier, one of the most advanced aircraft ever designed. This jet could fly 3 times faster than sound and spot enemy bombers from over 100 miles away. It was meant to be America's shield against nuclear attack. But despite being incredibly advanced, this superfighter never passed the planning stage. Join us as we explore the story of the XF-108 Rapier, the unstoppable interceptor that almost was. During the Cold War, America developed some fantastic planes, and the XF-108 Rapier was one of them. It was built to stop Soviet bombers before they could drop nuclear weapons on their cities. This jet was incredibly advanced for its time. It was fast and packed with cutting-edge technology. On paper, it looked unstoppable. Surprisingly, despite all its impressive features, the United States government decided not to produce it. The super-fast interceptor never made it past the design stage. To understand why this happened, we must look at what was happening in the 1950s. While many remember this era for its diners, cool cars, and rock and roll, there was a darker side. Americans lived in constant fear of nuclear war. After seeing the devastating power of atomic bombs in World War II, the threat of nuclear attacks became very real. After World War II, America had money to spend. Aircraft designers went wild with new ideas. If they could dream it up, they would try to build it. That was what made these years so special. Engineers could take real risks. No wonder people look back and call it the golden age of airplane design. In the 1950s, they built all kinds of strange test planes to try out jet engines. There was the XF-84, which was called the Thunder Screech. It was a great design, but so loud it made people sick. Another plane was the Lockheed XF-V, which could take off straight up like a rocket, and the VZ-9 Avrocar that looked like a flying saucer. But one of the wildest designs was the XF-108 Rapier. The Rapier was designed to protect America from Soviet bombers. North American Aviation created it as a super-fast jet that could fly out, catch enemy bombers, and stop them before they got close to the United States. Without needing to refuel, it could patrol an area about 1,200 miles away from its base, and it didn't even need to get close to its targets. Its radar and missiles could hit bomber-sized planes from 100 miles away. The team used the same engines they were developing for another aircraft, the XB-70 Valkyrie bomber, to save money. They also borrowed ideas from older fighter jet designs, but the Rapier never got very far. They only built one wooden model before the whole project was shut down in 1959. Why? Two big reasons. They ran out of money, and the Soviets changed their strategy. Instead of bombers, the Soviets focused on missiles as their primary nuclear weapon. If the Rapier had been built, it would have been the biggest fighter jet of its time. Before they canceled the project, President Eisenhower did the math. Building a fleet of F-108 fighters would cost American taxpayers $4 billion. In today's economy, that is about $42 billion, a considerable amount to spend on a fighter jet that might not even be needed anymore. In the early 50s, the Air Force wanted to build another special fighter jet that could fly far. They started working on this idea in 1965, calling it the LRX, which means Long Range Interceptor, experimental. It was meant to replace their current fighters, the F-102 and F-106. What did they want this new jet to do? The Air Force had some big demands. They wanted it to fly 11 miles up in the sky, moving faster than 1,000 miles per hour. It needed to travel 1,000 miles without stopping for fuel. They also wanted it to have advanced radar to spot bombers from 60 miles away and be strong enough to shoot down 3 in one mission. These were ambitious goals for the 1950s. But remember, they were building this jet to defend against nuclear bombers. They needed something extraordinary. 8 companies auditioned to build this new jet. But in October 1955, the Air Force picked just 3: North American Aviation, Lockheed, and Northrop. North American's design, the NA-236, showed real promise. It looked a lot like what would become the XF-108, just with some tweaks. They put small fins on the tail and added extra wings up front. But then less than a year later, in May 1956, the whole thing fell apart. The same old story. Not enough money and too much politics. In April 1957, the project got another chance. North American Aviation got the green light to build 2 test planes of their updated design. They called it the F-108, but the military had another name for it, Weapons System 202A. North America kept most of their old design. They just renamed it NA-257. The design was like a work in progress without any finish date in view, and that was because they were playing with cutting-edge technology that no one had tried before, and the Air Force kept changing the requirements. The first versions looked different. They had these extra mini wings up by the nose, which engineers call canards, stretching almost 20 feet across. And the main wings, they were not straight. They angled back at 53 degrees. This version of the Rapier would have been massive, weighing nearly 100,000 pounds when fully loaded. It could fly more than 13 miles up in the sky, but they had bigger plans for it than just stopping bombers. North America thought it could also protect its other project, the B-70 Valkyrie bomber. It made sense since both planes would share the same escape pod and engines. They even considered using it to help spot enemy planes coming over the North Pole. The Rapier was so fast that it could scan an area bigger than all of Texas in just 1 hour, which was pretty impressive for a plane that had never been built. Even though the Rapier project seemed to be going well, dark clouds were gathering. For one thing, people started questioning whether the Soviet bomber threat was as bad as they thought. And by 1959, the Air Force officially killed the project. But here's the interesting part. All that work did not go to waste. The Navy used many of the Rapier's designs in their new A-5 Vigilante jet. Think of it as the Rapier's smaller cousin. It could not fly quite as fast, but it worked. The Vigilante started as a nuclear bomber and later became a spy plane, carrying cameras instead of weapons. So while the Rapier never flew, its DNA lived on in another successful jet. Hughes Aircraft kept working on its advanced targeting system and the GAR-9 missile. All the work eventually found a home in a different project, the YF-12. In fact, if you looked in the back seat of a YF-12, it looked just like what they planned for the Rapier. Same screens, same controls, same Hughes targeting system. Earlier designs had extra wings, both front and back, but they were removed in the final version. They needed the jet to fly far, so they packed it with fuel tanks, 2 in the body and 5 more in the wings. This would let it fly about 1,100 miles into enemy territory and still make it back home. The Rapier was very fast and had top-notch technology. Engineers thought it could reach almost 2,000 miles per hour while flying 15 miles up in the sky. To achieve that kind of performance, it had 2 powerful J-93 jet engines, the same ones used in the giant B-70 bomber. But speed wasn't everything. The Rapier had some pretty advanced radar for its time, the Hughes AN/ASG-18. America's first radar could tell the difference between planes flying above and below it. However, there was just one setback. It could only track one target at a time. To help spot targets better, they had to put infrared sensors on the front edges of the wings. The plane could carry 3 missiles inside its body on a spinning launcher. These were not your average missiles. They were huge and could fly incredibly far. Each one had its radar to help it find its target. They were designed to fly at incredible ranges and could hit targets almost 112 miles away. Imagine being able to shoot down an enemy plane from farther away than you could see it. That was what made this missile system so unique. It was like having a sniper rifle when everyone else was using pistols. It was one of the biggest fighter jets ever designed. It stretched longer than 8 school buses lined up together, 89 feet from nose to tail. Its wings spread 57 feet wide, and it stood as tall as a 2-story house at 22 feet. This was not just a big plane, it was heavy too. It weighed as much as 7 full-grown elephants, about 50,000 pounds, even empty. Fill it up with fuel and weapons? Now you are looking at 76,000 pounds. Fully loaded for takeoff, it would have weighed more than 100,000 pounds. Talking about what this jet could do. The Rapier was not just fast in a straight line. It could climb like a rocket, shooting at 45,000 feet per minute, and it could fly higher than most planes too, reaching about 15 miles up in the sky. Range was another strong point. It could fly more than 1,000 miles in combat before needing fuel. It could go even further on longer trips without weapons, almost 2,500 miles. Want to know the awe-inspiring part? The Rapier could still fly slowly when needed. It would not stall until it slowed to about 105 miles per hour, which was important for taking off and landing safely. In the Cold War, America tried to build another super-fast jet called the Republic XOF-103. Like the Rapier, it was meant to shoot down Soviet bombers with mind-bending speed. But despite years of work, they never built a real one, just a wooden model in 1953. The Air Force liked what they saw and ordered 3 test planes on June 1954. But then the problems started. Working with titanium was harder than they thought, and the engine they planned to use, the Wright J-67, was not working out. The Air Force cut the order down to just 1 plane. Then things got worse. Wright could not get their engine to work right, and every plane that was supposed to use it had to find a different engine or get canceled. The United States tried to save their project by switching to a less powerful J-65 engine, but it was too late. In August 1957, the Air Force pulled the plug. After all that work, not a single plane ever flew. The F-103 got one last chance at life. The Air Force was working on a new project, the same one that would later create the Rapier. They needed a plane to test cutting-edge equipment, a unique radar system, and a new missile. Republic thought they had an answer. They could modify their design to carry this new gear, though they would have to use some of the weapon space for extra fuel tanks. The problem was, even with these changes, the plane still could not fly as far as the Air Force wanted. They did some work to fit the massive radar. Its antenna was 40 inches wide and needed a much bigger nose section. But in the end, nothing came of it. The Air Force tested their new radar and missile on a different plane instead, a modified B-58 Hustler bomber. Getting a plane to fly at the speed of light was a huge challenge back in the 1950s. Here's why. Think about how a jet engine works. It takes in air, squeezes it, mixes it with fuel, and lights it on fire. The hot gases shooting out the back push the plane forward. Pretty simple. But here's the problem. The engine can only handle air coming in at normal speeds. When flying super fast, you need special air intakes to slow that rushing air down before it hits the engine. But slowing down that fast-moving air creates a lot of heat. The hotter things get, the harder it is for the engine to work. And the fastest part of the engine, the spinning blades behind where the fuel burns, can only take so much heat before it starts to melt. With the metals they had back then, anything faster than 2.5 times the speed of sound was pushing their luck. That was asking a lot from 1950s technology. Engineers had a solution: eliminate the most complicated part of the jet engine, which was the spinning turbine. What you are left with is called a ramjet. It was just a tube, and it was easier to keep cool by letting extra airflow around it. Some test planes using ramjets could reach 4 times the speed of sound. But ramjets had their problems. First, they burned a lot of fuel. Just flying from one airbase to another would cost a fortune. Even worse, a ramjet only works when you are already flying with supersonic speed. It needs that speed to squeeze the incoming air properly. Republic's chief designer, Alexander Kartveli, devised a clever solution. Why not use 2 engines? He combined a regular jet engine, the Wright J67, with a ramjet, the RJ55. The trick was connecting them with special tunnels that could direct air to either engine. The plane would use the regular jet engine at slow speeds, with the ramjet working like a power booster. Together, they created 40,000 pounds of thrust. But things would change when the plane got fast, above twice the speed of sound. The regular jet engine would shut off, and all the air would flow straight to the ramjet. Sure, this setup gave the plane less raw power, but it solved the big problem. The plane could fly faster without overheating. It was like having the best of both worlds: a regular jet for taking off and a ramjet for those super fast speeds. Both engines sat behind one massive air intake under the plane. This intake had a distinctive lip that angled forward, the same design Republic later used on their F-105 Thunderchief. The plane had triangle-shaped wings, which engineers call the delta wings. They were tilted back at 55 degrees. But here is the clever part. These wings could move. They could tilt up and down from where they connected to the plane's body. Why do this? When taking off or landing, most planes must point their nose up at a steep angle. But this jet was so long that doing that would have meant needing super tall landing gear to keep the tail from scraping the ground. Instead, they just tilted the wings up while keeping the plane level. This trick also helped during the flight. The wings could adjust to the perfect angle for the plane's speed, which meant it used less fuel, which was clever. Behind these tail fins were 2 special air brakes. They looked like flower petals and would open up at a 45-degree angle to help slow the plane down. Oddly enough, they did not include a braking parachute that most fast jets had back then to help them stop after landing. Initially, they planned to give the pilot a typical cockpit with a glass canopy. However, engineers worried this would slow the plane down at high speeds. At the time, everyone thought using periscopes was the next big thing for superfast planes. The Air Force loved this idea and told the Republic they had to use it. But Kartveli, the chief designer, hated it. He kept pushing for a regular glass canopy, arguing pilots needed to see with their own eyes. He was so convinced that every design document included both options. His calculations showed the glass canopy wouldn't slow the plane down much anyway. Think of it like this. Would you rather drive a car by looking through a periscope or a regular windshield? Kartveli thought pilots would feel the same way. Like many jets from the 1950s, the XF-103 were ahead of its time. Engineers dreamed big back then. They had to. The Soviet threat was real, and America needed something extraordinary to defend itself. But sometimes dreaming big means facing big problems. The special metals they needed were too hard to work with, and the engines they wanted did not work right. By the time they figured out solutions, the whole game had changed. Still, these paper plane jets that never flew taught us important lessons. The tricks they invented to solve tough problems, like mixing different types of engines, would help build better planes for years to come. Today, we are still using some of the ideas these engineers dreamed up. The XF-103 never flew, but it shows us something important. Sometimes pushing technology too far and too fast can leave you with nothing but blueprints and wooden models. Yet even failed projects can point the way to future success. Behind the incredible agility of massive aircraft like the C-5 Galaxy lies an essential yet often overlooked component, the landing gear. While sensors, avionics, engines, and stealth are necessary to the aircraft's performance, the landing gear ensures these advanced systems remain functional and operational. The landing gear directly impacts the aircraft's ability to land, take off, and maneuver on the ground, ensuring its enormous weight and complex systems are appropriately supported. How does the landing gear affect the overall functionality of these aircraft? What critical maintenance procedures are carried out to ensure it remains in top form? Join us as we explore the activities that go on inside the United States Air Force Advanced Facility, repairing massive aircraft landing gears. Ensuring the full functionality of massive aircraft landing gear is very important for its safe and consistent operation, as it supports the complex and demanding tasks the aircraft is built to handle. Without regular and thorough inspections and maintenance of the landing gear, routine landings would be impossible, potentially compromising the safety of the aircraft and its mission. The specialists at Building 125 conduct detailed testing during program depot maintenance, which includes a comprehensive examination of all components to ensure the landing gear is in optimal working condition. This complex process guarantees that the missions of massive aircraft worldwide can be carried out efficiently and without issue, reinforcing the aircraft's essential role in global operations. Let's take a look at the C-5 Super Galaxy, a large military transport aircraft used by the United States Air Force. It's the largest aircraft in the Air Force's inventory. This massive aircraft is designed to transport heavy cargo and personnel across vast distances with unmatched efficiency and reliability. One of its most distinctive features is its unique dual-access system, which allows for simultaneous loading and unloading through the nose and aft doors. This innovative design provides significant operational flexibility, allowing crews to manage cargo swiftly and efficiently. Additionally, the aircraft is equipped with drive-on ramps at both ends, enabling the seamless transportation of double rows of vehicles. To ensure the C-5 remains operationally ready, thorough attention to its components, especially the landing gear, is crucial. In 2013, the 559th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron's landing gear shop saw increased activity with the arrival of a state-of-the-art landing gear test stand. This advanced prototype, which had been assembled and validated, was designed to further enhance operational efficiency by improving workplace safety, ergonomics, and supply chain support, while also reducing costs. With these advancements, the squadron could ensure the continued readiness and reliability of the C-5's vital systems. The new test stands were developed through a collaborative effort between the C-5 System Program Office and General Atomic Systems Integration, and the first of 2 stands was nearing operational readiness. Prior to this, positioning a landing gear for testing required lowering a stand to lift the gear into place. The new design eliminated this step by incorporating a platform like a drawbridge, allowing the landing gear to be rolled directly into position. The team was excited about the new stands as they simplified the process of connecting and diagnosing the landing gear, making troubleshooting more efficient. A C-5 field engineer agreed, noting that the new stands were more user-friendly, improving both the mechanics' comfort and the ease of their work. One of the most significant upgrades was integrating an advanced digital control board, which was similar to a laptop and enhanced diagnostic capabilities. The system's hydraulic valve allowed for more thorough operational checks, ensuring the landing gear functioned precisely as required. The new stands also addressed the issue of obsolete parts in the older stands, which had previously caused delays due to extended wait times for replacements. The availability of commercially interchangeable components significantly reduced downtime. In addition to their improved functionality, the new stands were more durable. They offered better safety features, such as a more expansive stairwell, enhanced railings, upgraded lighting, and greater accessibility to utilities. They also included an integrated wiring analyzer, which tested the integrity of the landing gear's electrical systems. The improvements to the landing gear test stands were a significant step forward in operational efficiency, safety, and reliability. It was emphasized that while the control technology had been modernized, the safety of the mechanics remained a top priority. These upgrades not only streamlined the testing process, but also reinforced the commitment to maintaining high-quality landing gear for the C-5, ensuring that fully functional landing gear would always be available for aircraft undergoing PDM. With the C-5 expected to remain in service for another 30 years, the new test stands were seen as a key element in maintaining the aircraft's operational readiness, ensuring its continued effectiveness in both domestic and global operations. These advancements in test equipment ensure that the complex C-5's landing gear system is in perfect condition. Let's check out the C-5 landing gear and why it is said to be complex. This aircraft landing gear system is designed to support the immense weight of the aircraft and allow it to operate on relatively short runways. The C-5 is equipped with 5 sets of landing gear, totaling 28 wheels, which provide the necessary stability and evenly distribute its weight. This robust configuration enables the aircraft to take off and land even when carrying heavy cargo. The tricycle-type landing gear, fitted with dual-chamber pneumatic shock absorbers, carbon disc brakes, and high-performance Goodrich wheels, further enhances its operational capability. Additionally, the ability to deflate the tires mid-flight allows for adjustments to accommodate varying landing conditions, showcasing the aircraft's unmatched versatility. The C-5's main landing gear consists of 4 units, each arranged in tandem pairs. Each unit features a 6-wheel bogie with 2 wheels positioned forward and 4 wheels aft of the shock absorber. These main units are designed to rotate 90 degrees inward for retraction, facilitated by a hydraulically driven gear system. This innovative design not only optimizes space but also contributes to the aircraft's aerodynamic efficiency during flight. Complementing the main landing gear is the 4-wheeled nose gear, which is equally robust and sophisticated. It is equipped with hydraulically driven ball screw units that enable backward retraction. The nose gear can rotate through a 120-degree frontal arc, providing exceptional maneuverability on the ground. This capability allows the C-5 to achieve a ground-turning radius of approximately 22.10 meters about the nose wheel and 52.12 meters about the wingtip, making it remarkably agile for an aircraft of its size. The C-5 Super Galaxy's landing gear undergoes thorough inspection and maintenance by a team of highly skilled technicians. Given the immense stress these components endure during takeoff and landing, ensuring their reliability is paramount to flight safety and operational efficiency. The maintenance process begins with a complete disassembly of the landing gear, allowing technicians to conduct a thorough examination for structural defects, including cracks, deformities, or signs of fatigue. Each individual component is scrutinized using advanced diagnostic methods such as video measurement and roll scan technology. These techniques provide high-precision assessments, enabling maintenance crews to determine whether parts require repair or full replacement. Once the evaluation is complete, the restoration process begins. Worn or damaged components are subjected to a series of complex refinishing procedures, including plating, grinding, and painting. These treatments restore the structural integrity of the parts and enhance their durability, ensuring they can withstand the extreme forces experienced during flight operations. One of the most critical challenges in maintaining the C-5's landing gear is the degradation of its aluminum cylinders due to wear and corrosion. If left unchecked, such deterioration could result in catastrophic failures, leading to severe damage and potential loss of life. Historically, replacing these aluminum components was costly and time-consuming, as they were manufactured through aluminum forging, a process made procurement and frequent replacements highly impractical. To address this issue, the U.S. Air Force has adopted a revolutionary solution: magnetron sputtering technology. And this advanced coating technique allows technicians to restore worn-out cylinders by applying an ultra-thin layer of aluminum at the atomic level. Sputtering probes are positioned within the degraded cylinders, systematically depositing aluminum atoms one by one. This precision-based process effectively rebuilds the internal structure, transforming an aging component into one that performs like new. The integration of magnetron sputtering has been a game-changer in aircraft maintenance. By eliminating the need for full cylinder replacements, this innovation significantly reduces costs while ensuring aircraft readiness. The ability to restore landing gear components with such precision extends the operational lifespan of the C-5 fleet, keeping these vital aircraft mission-ready without unnecessary downtime. Incorporating advanced technology and rigorous inspection protocols, the U.S. Air Force continues to enhance the performance and reliability of the C-5's landing gear. By leveraging advanced repair methods and innovative coating techniques, maintenance teams uphold the highest safety standards, ensuring that these massive transport aircraft can execute critical missions worldwide. Commercial airlines facing similar challenges with aluminum landing gear components can adopt this technology to restore dimensions, reduce maintenance costs, and enhance aircraft reliability. A distinguishing feature of the C-5 Super Galaxy's landing gear is its four rear struts, which are positioned externally along the fuselage rather than beneath it. This unique design provides exceptional structural stability during high-impact operations such as takeoffs and landings, particularly when transporting heavy cargo. Given the aircraft's role in strategic airlift missions, ensuring stability under immense loads is crucial. These struts are reinforced with a zinc-nickel alloy coating, meticulously applied to enhance durability and corrosion resistance. Engineers at Robins Air Force Base in Georgia execute this process with extreme precision, ensuring that the coating adheres flawlessly to the metal surface. This careful application guarantees that the struts maintain their structural integrity over extended periods, even under the most demanding conditions. Since the C-5's introduction in 1970, its maintenance teams have adhered to rigorous inspection protocols to ensure safe and efficient operations. Before every flight, highly trained technicians conduct thorough examinations of the landing gear, assessing critical factors such as alignment, wear, corrosion, and potential structural deformities. Detecting and addressing these issues before takeoff is essential, as even minor defects in landing gear components could compromise the aircraft's safety and performance. In addition to landing gear inspections, the aircrew performs comprehensive pre-flight checks, which include evaluating fuel levels and verifying the aircraft's overall operational status. Once all systems receive clearance, the pilots initiate the startup sequence, bringing the massive engines to life. They then taxi the aircraft onto the runway, where final system checks are completed before executing a takeoff. The combination of thorough maintenance, advanced engineering solutions, and cutting-edge repair technologies ensures that the C-5 remains competent and reliable. Safran Landing Systems, a leading aerospace manufacturer, plays an important role in the advanced engineering of the C-5 Super Galaxy's landing gear. This intricate system, comprising struts, brakes, and multiple components, is meticulously designed to ensure optimal performance and durability for both commercial and military aircraft. Leveraging cutting-edge 3D modeling and precision engineering, Safran conducts rigorous testing during the design phase to guarantee reliability before the components are brought into production. Beyond manufacturing, Safran operates a specialized repair and refurbishment facility dedicated to restoring landing gear systems to their original condition. This tedious restoration process unfolds in 4 critical stages. The first step involves complete disassembly, where technicians break down the landing gear into its individual components. Protective coatings are removed, and each part undergoes an intensive cleaning process to eliminate any contaminants. The second phase is a thorough inspection using advanced laser measuring systems. These high-precision tools detect structural weaknesses, hidden damage, or signs of wear that could compromise performance. Once defects are identified, the process advances to the third stage, refurbishment. Damaged components are repaired or replaced, and protective coatings are reapplied to enhance longevity and resistance to environmental factors. The final stage involves reassembling the landing gear with the utmost precision, ensuring that all components fit seamlessly. Once fully reassembled, the landing gear undergoes comprehensive testing before being packaged and shipped back to the customer for reinstallation. This meticulous process not only restores aging components, but also enhances their structural integrity, reducing the need for frequent replacements and minimizing maintenance costs. One of the most critical challenges faced by landing gear systems is the impact of hard landings. A hard landing occurs when an aircraft makes contact with the ground with greater force than expected, often due to factors such as weather conditions, excess weight, or pilot error. These incidents subject the landing gear to extreme stress, increasing the risk of structural damage. To reduce these risks, aircraft undergo immediate inspections after a hard landing to assess potential damage before their next flight. Engineers utilize non-destructive testing techniques to detect internal fractures, corrosion, or misalignments that might not be visible to the naked eye. By combining innovative engineering, advanced refurbishment techniques, and rigorous inspections, Safran Landing Systems ensures that landing gear components remain in peak condition, enhancing aircraft safety and operational reliability. A hard landing is never intentional. Rather, it is influenced by several factors, including adverse weather conditions, excessive aircraft weight, or pilot miscalculations. Regardless of the cause, every aircraft that experiences a hard landing must undergo a thorough inspection to ensure its airworthiness before its next flight. At the forefront of landing gear restoration is Embraer, a company specializing in the repair and refurbishment of damaged landing gear components. Upon arrival at their facility, landing gear assemblies are carefully documented, ensuring that every component is accounted for. This detailed documentation process guarantees full traceability, which is crucial for maintaining safety and regulatory compliance. Once logged, the landing gear undergoes an extensive disassembly process. Each part is carefully separated, and all protective coatings, including paint, primer, and cadmium plating, are stripped away. This process allows technicians to conduct a microscopic examination, revealing any structural deformities or hidden weaknesses that may not be visible to the naked eye. To further assess the integrity of the components, the parts are subjected to non-destructive testing. These advanced diagnostic techniques, such as ultrasonic and radiographic inspections, detect internal flaws without causing damage to the components. If any parts are found to be compromised, they undergo precise repairs to restore them to optimal working condition. Once the necessary repairs are completed, the refurbished components are treated with specialized coatings and repainted in a controlled environment. These coatings enhance durability, protect against corrosion, and ensure the landing gear can withstand the extreme stresses encountered during flight operations. Before being deemed flight-ready, the reassembled landing gear must pass a full-cycle compression test. This rigorous evaluation simulates real-world operational conditions, verifying that the system can endure the immense forces exerted during takeoff and landing. Only after successfully passing these tests is the landing gear considered fit for reinstallation. In addition to its primary maintenance facility, Embraer operates a dedicated manufacturing and overhaul center specifically for the Phenom 100 and Phenom 300 aircraft, with a workforce of nearly 600 employees, 200 of whom are solely dedicated to maintenance. The facility ensures that every landing gear system meets the highest standards of quality and reliability. After repair and testing, the refurbished landing gear is carefully packaged and prepared for shipment back to the customer. The aircraft maintenance teams then reinstall the landing gear, ensuring that all components function seamlessly before the aircraft returns to service. The restoration and reinstallation of aircraft landing gear is a complex process that requires expert precision and advanced engineering techniques. Once the damaged or worn-out landing gear components undergo a thorough inspection, the engineering team executes necessary repairs, ensuring each subcomponent meets operational standards. Specialized coatings are applied to reinforce durability and resistance to environmental stressors. These coatings, often tailored to specific operational conditions, serve as an essential barrier against corrosion, wear, and extreme pressure. Following the application of protective layers, skilled technicians proceed with the painting phase. This step enhances the visual integrity of the components and provides an additional layer of protection, ensuring the longevity and reliability of the landing gear during demanding flight operations. Every piece is carefully reassembled with strict adherence to engineering specifications before undergoing a series of rigorous functional tests. These evaluations simulate real-world operational conditions, assessing the gear's ability to withstand extreme forces and ensuring seamless retraction and deployment during landing and takeoff. Upon successful completion of the testing phase, the fully restored landing gear is securely packed and prepared for shipment. Precision in packaging is critical, ensuring that all components arrive intact and ready for immediate installation. As soon as the repaired landing gear reaches the receiving facility, aviation personnel initiate the reinstallation process without delay. Specialized hydraulic jacks are employed to elevate and stabilize the aircraft, providing a secure workspace for the maintenance crew. The team methodically reinstalls the landing gear, ensuring every component is aligned with engineering tolerances and operational parameters. The reinstallation process, which typically spans approximately 15 days, demands a high level of coordination and technical expertise. However, due to the proficiency and experience of the aircrew and maintenance specialists, the process is occasionally expedited, minimizing aircraft downtime and optimizing operational readiness. This efficiency is particularly crucial for military and commercial aviation sectors, where rapid turnaround times can significantly impact mission readiness and airline schedules. The ongoing maintenance and testing of landing gear are fundamental to ensuring the safety and reliability of aircraft operations. Each step in the process, from initial inspection and refurbishment to reinstallation and final testing, plays a crucial role in mitigating risks associated with landing gear failure. Regular maintenance not only extends the lifespan of these critical components, but also enhances overall flight safety, preventing catastrophic failures that could jeopardize both personnel and assets. Ultimately, the dedication and expertise of engineers, technicians, and aviation maintenance crews prove the importance of precision-driven maintenance procedures. Their work ensures that every aircraft remains in peak operational condition, reinforcing the aviation industry's commitment to safety, reliability, and performance excellence. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link appearing on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.